Which computer? It's on the other.
Wait.
Schemas will get you. This is this meetup.
I'm running this.
We meet in Princeton area,
Okay,
Homedale. We've done some talks in Edison. Probably do a joint talk with our friend Paul in Philly or Cherry Hill or Camden at some point. We get a venue.
Yeah, we did some talk as well in the High Valley with
Is this the
Roach
one?
and stuff
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. I have a venue in New Hope, but they keep closing it on me. Like they keep offering it,
Yeah.
and then they go, oh, not this week.
Okay. There you
So that's been for 3 years. So we might never get New Hope. Yeah, so we're all over. We cover a lot of topics here.
Wait.
As you can tell, we're not excessively serious. We're pretty free to say whatever we want.
Is this the one?
You know, we don't have any corporate overlords who are too tough on us. So the topic of this talk was suggested by not the tyranny part. The other part was suggested by our paymasters in California, but I've added cats to it to make it better.
And Nano?
That is the infamous Nano, yes.
Alright.
Okay.
And Paul is going to show us some behind the scenes of how to make it actually work.
Are you ready?
Which is tricky. I also have a demo of HBase 2 with a couple different ways to connect to it with no command line, which is nice. Running in CDP DC, which is our first version beyond the merger. If you want to call that our combined, technically CDP 7 something. Working with NiFi, HBase, Kudu, Impala, schema registry, all on one.
and the second, so we're gonna go through this, go through HBase and what kind of new, and then I wanted to touch a little bit upon what we're doing in the the kind of the new form factor that we are seeing the industry going. Like we're joking about the thing node and these giant clusters and stuff like this, but we have seen a lot of basically this idea of a big ass cluster with yarn cube is kind of dying because of the ability that we have with basically new infrastructure, and so we kind of revamped how we operate around that. And ultimately we can have access to the same services, and it simplifies this multi-tenancy.
Here I got some thanks to the people who made this possible. You're on there, Paul. Look at that, top billing. And then people sent me some slides. I had a cast. I also have 2 other short talks after this. One is on the new features of NiFi 110, which includes stateless execution, which is kind of cool. It's in 110.
Yes, what I thought. So CLI.
Yeah, that's gotten a lot better. And then being able to run a NiFi flow just by itself, no running cluster involved. I can run that in Yarn, Kubernetes, OpenWhisk, command line. Yeah, and that'll get better. Right now there's no GUI around it. It's pretty simple, but pretty nice. Some people who've helped us out with this new venue. So, seems to be a good place, good parking, decent amount of good infrastructure here. I don't know if it scared people away because it's hard to find, or it's just, we advertised 2 weeks beforehand and it's in the right place. Yeah, getting close to the holidays, December.
It's okay, nobody cares anyway.
I would have called the talks that the tyranny of schemas.
I just called it the tyranny of infrastructure. Hey, you want to see some of the technical stuff we're talking about? Come
That was me, I told you that.
I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm not flying out till tomorrow, so I'll come over.
So, this is some of the official slides. So, HBase has gone into version 2. It's hyper stable. We have, I personally know a couple of companies who put their whole business on HBase. See, there you go. There's a lot of different things, yes. Well, actually, we mentioned that. We don't hide that one because that's public. Best known app is Siri.
That's right.
That's pretty impressive. 14 petabytes, not bad.
Anyway, all right. So
it's-
sorry about that.
We can share very
And so
small
this, oh shit! I
bits.
closed all the
If you
fucking.
really
No,
want
don't
to
worry.
go.
I get
There's
9
one
computers.
on containers as well.
So
Standard in previous
so if you get bored, I can definitely recommend to take those.
So HBase is what we call a like an operational database. There it is.
There's the man. Now we can start. We were just fooling around.
Yeah.
That's
There was a car that was on fire. That was
What?
It's kind of
Oh, is that the Philly greeting?
type of computer.
You set 2 cars on fire on either side of the highway.
No, that's, I don't know that it was.
And so this is
because it was.
what we call
I
kind
think
of
it was a
key
truck
value
that was
store
putting
originally,
the
right. So this idea is that
another
you have
car or
an index
something,
and a
kind
key
of
value, and then expand it.
And that
to
happens.
different values and so on and so forth. So it's not
Okay, so I improved the slide.
RGBMS model because
Tyranny of
it's fully scalable and it does distribution of the indexes and the data, but because it's very indexed, it's very
And you
it arranges the data so that
nobody
it kind
cares
of
what
very
you
fast and stuff. But that also means that you get the scale, you get very quick responses,
This is this
but
meetup.
you don't get
We
the same
meet in
amount
Princeton
of
area.
joining capabilities,
Homedale.
or analytics capabilities.
We've done
So
some
if
talks
you're
in
trying to
Edison.
do, like,
Probably do a joint talk with
you
our
know,
friend Paul in Philly or
business intelligence
Cherry Hill or
or machine
Canada
learning
at
and
some
stuff
point.
like
We
this,
get a
like-
venue.
unless
Yeah,
you
we
come
did
back,
some talk as well in the High Valley with.
HBase is tough. Oh yeah.
And
I have
also
a venue
this
in
is
New Hope, but they
also
keep
one
closing
of
it
the
on me.
only
Like they keep offering
data
it,
store that
and then
can
they go,
have
oh, not this week.
basically college
No, that's been for 3 years. Which
Which
might never get when you're trying to look through it.
I mean,
Yeah, so we're
whether it's a
all
good idea or
over.
not,
We
from
cover a
an
lot of
architectural
topics
perspective
here.
is another debate. But the
As
point
you
is,
can tell, we're not excessively
can really
serious.
expect, right? So and it comes to
We're
this
pretty
specific
free to
niche.
say whatever
So
we
when you
want.
see like the use
You
case
know,
that we
there's-
talked about earlier,
we don't have any
Siri, for
corporate
instance,
overlords who are
you
too
need to
tough
be
on
able to have
us.
very fast
So
response.
the topic of this talk was
Exactly.
suggested
So
by
this is where
well,
this
not
type
the
of
tyranny part.
database is going
The
to
other
come
part
from.
was suggested
Right.
by
Um,
our.
and it's one of
pay-
the most
paymasters
robust, the
in
most
California,
stable
but,
part of
I've added
Hadoop
cats to it to make
distributions
it better.
till today.
And
That
so
is
much so
the
that it
infamous
doesn't
Nano,
work.
yes.
Like new
And
cars.
it's not exciting. Paul's going to
It
show us
works.
some
But it
behind the
just fucking works. That's
scenes
the problem,
of
right?
how to make it actually work, which is
Yeah. So anyway, so
tricky.
just that's
I
kind
also
of the
have
idea. And
a
then we can go
demo
a little bit deeper on
of
how it works in the
HBase
orchestration
2
layer, but the use
with a
case
couple
is
different ways to connect
Yeah,
to
and
it,
it's based on
with no command
like
line,
everything else we
which
do.
is nice.
Based on something
running
Google
in
did. So it's
CDP's
Google's
big C,
Yep.
which is
now they sell that too.
first
This is-
version
someone looked at
beyond
that
the
and said,
merger,
well, I'll write that too.
whatever you want to
Yep.
call that, or
So
combined.
it's
you know,
very solid, very
technically
nice.
CP7
So
something.
we didn't like
Working
that,
with
so now we
NiFi,
changed the architecture a
HBase,
little bit.
Kudu,
Yeah, and the
Impala,
architect, like in everything that we do,
schema
the
registry,
architecture
all on
changes
one.
according to the technologies that we have in Meet, right?
and
because
the
it's
second- so
it's
we're gonna
open,
go
but
through this,
it's
go through
evolving
HBase
quite
and what's kind
fast,
of
but
new, and then I wanted to
so there
touch
you
a
go.
little bit
Schema,
upon
that's one.
what we're doing
Yeah,
in
so
the
we're beyond the tyranny of the schema, as they sort of
kind
said.
the new form
So
factor
one of
that
the
we
original
are seeing
NoSQLs, it's nice.
the industry
you group
going like,
columns
we're
together
joking about
in these
the
families.
node
What's
and
cool
giant
is
clusters and stuff like
if you
this, but
decide
we
later, again, cool
have seen
versus
a
a
lot
problem
of,
if you actually want to use it.
and
is people
basically
can
this
add
idea of a
column
big ass
families
cluster with
willy-nilly,
yarn queues is
or
very
columns
fine
willy-nilly,
because
so you
of,
could have trying to get the data
ability
back.
that we have
It's
with
sort of like the
basically
problem
doing
of
infrastructure.
MongoDB and most
and so we kind of
NoSQL.
revamped our offering.
The reason
around
why
that.
you have a schema
And
is so you don't put any random
that,
garbage in
you know,
there.
Right.
ultimately
You-
you're
you
gonna
really
access
have
the
to
same services, but it kind of
control
simplifies
it.
this multi-tenancy.
So I'll show you in the demo the best way to control
Here I
it.
got some thanks
There's
to
two
the
ways
people who made this
because
possible.
NoSQL, they added
You're on
SQL
there,
to
Paul.
it, so it's
Uh-huh.
not only
No.
SQL. Phoenix lets you do
Look at that, top
some
billing.
pretty.
There you
And then
Okay,
people sent
SQL
me
on
some
top of it.
slides. I had a cat
For certain use cases.
I also have two other short
But,
talks
you know,
after
that's-
this. You're not getting some
one
of
is
the
on
benefits
the
of the
new
platform.
features of
Yeah, I mean, I
9.1.10,
suppose that
which
it's
includes
a trade-off,
stateless
right?
execution,
If you look at traditional
which is kinda cool.
Postgres
Is
or
CLI
DBMS,
just in
etc.,
110 or is it
you
just
are not
It's in
going to
110.
have this
Yeah, that's what I thought. So the
true
CLI,
scale.
so I'm
You look
very
at
excited about
you know,
this.
more
Yeah,
of a high
that's gotten a lot
thing,
better.
or
And then being able to
Parallel, you're
run
gonna have
a
bigger
NiFi
scale, but you're
flow
not going to have the same response
just
time
by
that you
itself,
use on raw,
no
right?
running cluster
And
involved.
here,
And you can run that in
you
yarn,
you have scale and fast, but
Kubernetes,
you're not getting that
open
type
with
of
That's what's going in
command
there.
line.
So basically,
Very interesting.
RDBMS have to
Yeah,
go
and that'll
to the
get
speed.
better. Right now, there's no
The
GUI
Impala
around
is
it.
gonna have
So it's
storage,
pretty
but you
simple.
don't, and the scale, but you're not going to
But
have the speed.
pretty
and then
nice.
HBase is going to have the
Some
speed.
people
and
have
the
helped
scale,
us
but
out
you're
with
not
this
gonna have
new
the storage, but
venue.
it's gonna
So seems to be a
Yeah,
good
you really-
place when you're good
Doing
parking.
HBase, there's no schema,
Decent
but if
amount
you
of
don't think
good
of how you want to
infrastructure
store
here.
that data.
I don't know if it
Because you
scared
gotta
people
remember,
away
you gotta
because it's
get
hard to find, or
Right
it's
tools,
just
right tools.
we
Some
advertise
holidays.
2 weeks
Yeah.
beforehand and
Always
it's in
been
the rain.
very
And it's a
aware
holidays.
of the use case. Don't
Yeah,
rely
get
on
close to the
it.
holidays,
Toy,
December.
Because it's the right toy for the job.
Yeah,
Tool for the job, I should say.
exactly, and that's
Yeah,
what
this
that's
because,
what our distribution is, right? So it's basically based on what you're trying to do.
That was me,
By the
I
way,
told you that.
tomorrow
I'm
this
like,
tool.
hey, you know what?
And the hard part is how do you
Fly out till
integrate
tomorrow,
this
so-
distribution, right? Anyway, I'm going off topic.
Yeah, but that's
So,
it's something to
this is
think
some of
about.
the
I mean,
official
you have to be
slides.
smart about it.
So
And
HBase has gone into
HBase does
version
have some
2.
interesting use
It's
cases with the ability to
hyper-stable.
just scan through
We
the
have,
whole thing.
I know personally,
So
know a
depending on
couple of
how you
companies
want to
who
use
put
the
this.
database. You know, their whole
Like I
business
said, there's
on
some
HBase.
people using it for things like Siri,
when you
where they're
talk to your
massive,
phone, for instance.
and they need to come
There's
back.
a
really
lot of
fast.
different things. Yeah, if you know.
Well,
how to
actually,
get what
we
you
mentioned
want.
that. We don't hide
It's a
that one
really
because that's
nice place
public.
to store it.
Oh,
Best
Best known
very
app
smart
is
in the way
Siri.
it handles
That's right.
things.
That's pretty impressive.
You know, recovery
15,
is
14
very
petabytes.
easy.
not
All
bad.
these things just get better. You know, what's
So it's-
nice
I think it's
is,
like, so I'm just,
you know, it works
because
with
we're
everything
very
we have
small,
already.
are you familiar
security
with
is
HBase at
pretty
all?
strong.
Like,
Has the logging and
So-
audibility. What's nice with
with
HBase is you don't have to think of it as different from what you're doing with any of
So,
your other data stores.
HBase is what we call
They
it,
all
like
sort
an
of go
operational
together.
database.
The thing
There
that's
is.
different, really,
There's the man. Now we
is
can
the
start.
stuff
We were just
here. If
fooling
you look
around.
on the left, a lot of
So,
people are writing some. I would call
the-
pretty
it's
ugly
kind of one of the
apps to
first
do it. I mean, they're
kind
not
of
hard,
distributed
but
type of computing.
Especially
So
when you have to do it in
there's
bytes.
HBase
I'll
and
show you
might
demos
have
with
heard of
NiFi
Kafka as well.
where
And
it's
so
so
this is
easy.
kind of
It's
what we call
one
kind of a key
command
value store.
and it puts
Right,
a
so it's
regular
like you
format
have
into
an index
HBase and
and
to get
a
it
key
out
value,
easily.
and then
When you have to
then
write
into
Java by
different
hand,
families and so on and so forth.
no matter what
So
tool you
it's
use,
not
it's not
a
pretty.
that being said, RDBMS
the
model
thing is one of
because
the,
it's like fully scalable.
Absurd is
because
awesome.
The best thing
Yeah.
about this type of database because it's very indexed and very it arranges the
about
data
it,
so
they
it
have
kind of
indexing
very
on
fast
the
at getting
data.
stuff. But that also
Right,
means
so it's
that
very easy
you
for them to know.
so you get scale, you
know,
get
the index
very quick
has-
responses,
it's the same index, then I'm
but
just gonna
you don't
override.
get the same amount
You know what I'm
of
trying to say?
you know, joining
hard to
capabilities.
do
So
on
in
a traditional
traditional
RDBMS. It's very
So
easy
if
to
you
do
if
numbers
you're
on-
trying to
has
do
like,
like
and there's a lot of like I'm not going
know,
too deep into HBase because I
business intelligence or
But,
machine learning or stuff like
there's
this.
a lot
like,
of mechanism there that
and
have
that's
been
in
put in
Kafka,
place
so
to
you
make
should
sure that
make
these
HBase is tough for those things.
Uh,
in
and
the world
you
where
also
where
this
it's
is
distributed.
also
Right.
one of the only
it's easy when you have only one store
data store
to
that
run
can
it, so it's
have
hard when
basically
it's
as many
Right.
columns as
so
you
lots
want.
of transactions and stuff like this, but
no
Thousands.
specifically upserts
Thousands.
are
Which is a
very,
pain when
very
you're trying to
good
look
in
for
a- in a-
I mean, whether it's a
People
good
do
idea or not
upsert
from an
plus
architecture
not
perspective
knowing
is not
if you want to do an
The point
insert and
is,
update,
you know,
not having to think
can
about
really
it.
expect. Yes.
That's
So
made
it comes to
Phoenix
this
really
specific
nice to play with. Just
So
like
when
I
you
have
see,
data.
like the use
Maybe
case
I
that
have
we
it there,
talked
maybe I
about
don't.
earlier,
I don't
serious
it doesn't
functions.
matter.
You need
That's
to be
pretty
able to
nice from a
verify
developer
response.
standpoint,
Yeah.
and having that
Exactly.
work at
So
speed.
this is where this type
really
of
nice.
database is going to
So
come
that's a nice
into play,
feature.
right?
I mean, and it's we try to
and
trivialize
it's
what
one
it can
of
do.
the most
I
robust,
mean, the
the most
SQL is
stable
not bad.
part
I mean,
of
it
the
meets
Hadoop
most
distribution
people's
still
needs.
today.
Not the worst
so
query
much so that
tools.
it doesn't
though.
attract. Yeah, but again, like
It's not exciting because it just works.
But it just fucking works. That's the problem. It has it will give you an JDBC endpoint. It will allow you to do something. So anyway, so just that's kind of the idea. And now we're gonna go a little bit deeper on how it works in the orchestration layer, but the use cases that I'm trying to do.
Yeah, and it's based on like everything else we do,
Well,
based
it's-
on something Google.
Yeah,
did.
you know,
So it's
ANSI
Google's big
SQL
table.
92, it's
Yeah.
got a lot of
Which
the stuff
now they
there.
sell that too.
Like I said,
But
for,
this is
especially
someone
for a
looked at that and
developer,
said, well,
it's
it's
got
got enough that
Yeah.
you can write.
so
from
it's
zero.
it's
And
it's
one of the
very
cool
solid,
things
very
about
nice.
this is if you are
So we didn't like that, so now we
thinking of
changed the
developing
architecture a
apps,
little
one
bit.
of the cool
Yeah,
features
and
about
the
HBase
architect,
is
like
that
in everything we do, the
right?
architecture changes.
So if you do
according
an
to the
like
technology.
if you do an upsert,
right, and
you
because it's a
one time you have like 3 columns, the other time you have 5. This does it dynamically.
There you go.
It will add columns to your
Yeah,
table.
so we're beyond the tyranny of the schema, as they sort of said.
Neat, right?
So one of the
But
original
it's
NoSQLs,
important because,
it's nice. You
you
can
know,
group columns
imagine like one of
together
the typical
in
use
these
cases.
families.
You
What's
have a
cool
bunch of
is
data that
if you decide later, again,
kind of
cool
unstructured.
versus a problem if you actually want to use it,
kind of make it
is people can add column
if
families
you do an
willy-nilly.
upsert, like sometimes
columns
you're
willy-nilly,
gonna have,
so you could have
more
trying to
stuff
get the
that are
data
coming
back.
from, especially
It's sort
if
of
you're
like
trying to get
the
some
problem
data
with
from, like,
MongoDB and
operational
most
system
NoSQL.
exchange. Well,
The
this,
reason why you have a
don't have to
schema
worry
is so you
about
don't
the
put
schema.
any random garbage in.
And that's super,
Right.
super
You
powerful.
really have to
And that works with
control it. So I'll show you in the
know,
demo
one of the, thing
the
that
best
people
way
use
to
it for
control
is
it.
if you want to
There's
response
two
time
ways.
on a
Because
business
NoSQL,
entity, for instance.
they added SQL to
Right,
it, so
like
it's
a customer
not only
on those
SQL.
lines, then it's
Phoenix
very easy
lets
to
you
add
do
attributes
some
without
pretty
worrying about
okay SQL on top of it.
You know,
for
when
certain
do I
use
need to
cases.
repurpose the
But
schema?
you know,
Like,
that's
like,
you're not getting
all that
some of the
stuff. Like,
benefits.
go ask
of
an
the
Oracle
platform.
DBA.
Yeah, I mean, I
add a
suppose
column
that's
in a
it's
table
a
and
trade-off,
build a-
right? You look at the traditional Postgres or DBMS.
So you get the benefits of like a
you are not
Mongo,
going to
but
have
with
this,
SQL,
yeah,
which
true
is nice,
scale.
and with
You look
more
at,
scalable.
you know, more of
That's
a
right.
Hive, even like,
So that's kind of
or in parallel, you're
So
gonna have bigger
the one
scale, but
issue
you're not
we-
gonna
that
have
both
the
Cloudera
same
and Hortonworks
constant
had
that you
was
can use on raw and
it only
And
really
here,
ran on top of
you
HDFS,
have-
which
you
is
have
good and
scale
bad.
fast, but you're not getting
You know,
the type
in our
of
new
storage that
design,
you can have. So basically,
You know, we're trying to
RDBMS
separate
has the
compute and
joints and the
storage.
feed. The
So,
Hive
you know,
Parallel is
things
gonna have
like
joints,
S3
but,
and cloud
and the scale
storage,
is not gonna have the speed,
You know,
and
was
then
an
HBase is
issue.
gonna
They
have
finally got
the
past
speed,
that.
and the
So
scale,
now
but
you
not
can
gonna
have
the growth rate. It's
the
gonna-
data stored in S3. We still
Yeah,
need
you really,
HDFS
when
for
you're
some
doing
metadata and
HBase,
some
there's
other
no schema, but if
side
you don't
data.
think of how you want
But
to
now
store
that you can use
data,
S3, you got to remember, you got to get it really opens up a lot for us. So I think this is really the the big
always be very
announcement again
aware
to
of
people who
use
don't
case
know. They're
terms
like,
going
oh.
because this is
Yeah.
Is it just S3 or is it also S3 compatible?
Yeah,
Two
and
functions.
exactly, and that's
also
what
work on
that's what
basically
our distribution is, right? So it's basically based on what you're trying to do, you start using it. And by the way, tomorrow this tool will change. The hard part is how do you integrate this? Obviously, part of a stack is anyway going off topic, enabling.
Yeah, but it's something to think about. I mean, you have to be smart about it. And HBase does have some interesting use cases with your ability to just scan through the whole thing. So depending on how you want to use the database, like I said, there's some people using it for things like Siri where they're massive. And they need to come back really fast. If you know how to get what you want, it's a really nice place to store it. It's very smart in the way it handles things.
Yeah.
You know, recovery is very easy. All these things just get better.
At first.
You know, what's nice is,
Like even if
you know,
look
it
at
works with
Ceph,
everything we have already.
Ceph doesn't scale beyond,
Security
like,
is pretty
like,
strong.
Southern nodes.
Has the logging and auditability. What's nice with HBase is you don't have to think of it as different from what you're doing with any of your other data stores.
No.
They all sort of go together. The thing that's different really is this stuff here. If you look on the left,
Yes.
a lot of people are writing some, I would call pretty
exactly. So
ugly
you
apps
hit the
to
nail
do
on
it.
the
I mean,
head.
they're not
Right.
hard, but
This is something that
especially when you have to do it in bytes. I'll show you demos with NiFi where it's so easy. It's one command and it puts a regular format into HBase and can get it out easily. When you have to write Java by hand, no matter what tool you're using, it's not.
Exactly.
Makes
So
sense.
that being said, integration
Upsert
points that we're
thing
looking at
is
for
one of the
right now are the
Upsert is
something
awesome.
called the best thing about
S3
this type of database is that they're very good at it. And then about it, they have indexing on the data. Right, so it's very easy for them.
Yeah,
to
we
know,
sort of need that on premise because we're
you
starting
know,
to
if the
get
index
clients
has
who are getting
same
beyond the,
index, then
what's
I'm
that
just gonna
magic
override.
number? Is it million or
You know,
billion?
yeah, whatever happening
stuff
in
that is
the
hard to
nodes,
do.
Yeah, there's only, we can only store in
That's
HDFS.
the case.
And
Like
there's
one
a
day
lot of,
node
like,
can
I'm
only
not
have,
doing
I don't know how many
It was,
files.
it was a couple billion files, which I
But,
think seems like a lot.
There's a
But
lot of
at
mechanisms
some
there.
point,
How
we
do you
have
put in
clients
place
who are
to
like,
make sure that
well, we want a
these
billion
upsets
files.
are occurring
So that's why we had to
properly
do something.
in a world where
So
it's
now
more
and
distributed.
nowadays like you see the numbers.
It's
of
easy
them?
when you have only one store and
they are
run up, so it's
yeah,
hard when
this
it's
is
distributed.
something.
It can do it, yeah.
It's colossal.
They're not as good as
Stuff
the
like
big
this,
ass file like
specifically
HDFS is,
upsets
yes.
are very
Right.
very good.
But
in
on-
But I mean, yeah, there's some trade-offs.
But
Upsert
there's
plus
literally
not
no
knowing
more file problems.
if you want to do an insert and
Which was
update,
a
not
pain.
having to think about it.
Yeah,
That's made Phoenix really nice
So
to play
this
with.
is the
Just
big
like,
deal.
I have data,
Our operational
maybe I
database
have it there, maybe I don't.
fully in the
Doesn't
public
matter.
cloud.
That's pretty
able
nice
to
from a
use,
developer standpoint.
yeah.
You know,
and
object
having that
storage
work for the main
at
parts of the
speed,
data,
really nice.
that really helps us
So
out.
that's a nice feature.
Makes it
I mean,
easier
and
and
it's
cheaper for you to
we
run
try to
this on the public cloud.
trivialize what it can
That makes
do.
it,
I mean, the
easy to
SQL is not bad.
cloud
I
optimized,
mean,
I guess
it
they can't
meets
say cloud
most
native.
people's needs.
cloud native.
Not the worst.
Yeah, I
query
mean
tool, so.
there's a
Yeah,
lot
but
of
again,
work that
like,
has been
I
done
think that
specifically on the
if-
S3 connector.
as a
It has
platform,
it will give you an
because, you know,
JDBC
you
endpoint.
want
It
to
will
go
allow
that,
you to do some SQL. If you try to
some of
build a
the-
freaking cube on HBase, you're gonna have
if
a
you go
problem,
with
right?
the
So
clouds
that's
provider,
not
they
one
will
different.
optimize their service, their native services to go to their
But it's,
to their
you know,
storage.
ANSI SQL
But we
92,
found out
it's
that
got a
that
lot
was
of the
a
stuff
different
there.
case.
Like I said,
So
especially
there's
for a
lot of things
developer,
that are coming
it's
in
got
different
enough
versions
that
of
you
HBase
can write
and
most
Hive
of
and
it.
etc. That
And
was
one of the
basic
cool things
reports.
is
To go back to this, if you are thinking of developing some apps, one of the cool
The
features
trade-off
about
that you
HBase
get
is
from
dynamic
separating
columns,
compute and
right?
storage is
So if you do an app, like if you do an app
you
search,
rely on
you
and
and
if you add
one
the
time you
latency
have
because you rely
like 3
on
columns, the other
storage
time
that
you
is
have 5. This does it dynamically. Like it will add
you start having
columns to
issues,
your
so we
table
optimize the
dynamically,
connection,
right?
and we
Again,
also
because it's a
optimize
schema-less
the cache
underneath,
space.
right? But it's important because you know, imagine like one of the typical use cases if you have a bunch of data that
storage
is
to make sure that we
kind
can
of
get this cascading
unstructured, but you
otherwise
use NiFi, you kind of make it in a structure. If you do an upsert, like sometimes you're gonna have more stuff that are coming from, especially if you're trying to get some data from like an operational system. Well, this you don't have to worry about the schema. That's
so
the
this
key
is
word.
this is exactly what we're doing.
That works with
you know,
one of the things that people use it for is if you want a response time on a business entity, for instance. Right, so like
big part of the stack that we are
it's
investing
very
on
easy to
is
add attributes,
understanding the way that your workloads are running,
you know,
and
when
making
do I need to
recommendations
repurpose the
in terms of
schema?
size
Like,
and
you know,
scale,
all that
based
stuff. Like
on
go ask an
the
Oracle
workload
DBA
itself.
to add a column,
which it goes beyond the monitoring of the infrastructure itself. Is how
you get the benefits of like a Mongo, but with
using the data are
which is nice, and with more scalability.
Right.
That's right.
So that's kind of cool. So exactly
So,
here,
the
if
one
we need
issue
to,
that both
you know,
Cloudera and Hortonworks
shut down
had
the
was
system,
it
you
only
know, you
really
could
ran on top of HDFS,
bring that back up,
which is good and bad.
without anything
in our
other
new
than just having
design,
an S3 data.
you know,
that,
we try to
that's the
separate
really
compute
big
and
feature
storage
for something in the
So,
cloud.
you
is
know,
to be able
things
to
like
get back
S3 and
and
cloud
not
storage,
use those resources.
was an
just use
issue.
the
They
cheap
finally
storage.
got past that.
This
So
could
now
save
you
you
can
a lot of
have
money because
the
we
data
have
stored in
people,
S3. We still need
maybe at
HDFS
certain
for
times
some
of the
metadata
day
and
or
some other
month,
side
you got
data.
huge amount of things
But now that
going
you
on,
can
and
use
then other times when
S3,
you don't.
this really
Here
opens
is
up a lot
a
for us. So
nice
I think this
solution
is
to
gonna
that,
be the
really saving you a lot
the
of
big
compute costs.
announcement again to people who don't know. They're like,
Could be a lot of
Is it
Yeah.
is it just S3 or is it
Not
also
my
S3
money.
compatible storage?
I store all my
also
data
it's
in a
complex.
hat.
So we also work on basically any block storage.
So HBase has a
So
ton of different connectors, huge number of things working with it. It's got all the security and governance, all the things you'd expect to have in there. There's some interesting things built on top of this where we see some other use cases. The geospatial thing is pretty interesting.
Yeah. So it's kind of
The solar piece as well.
Solar.
Of the HDFS as far as we're concerned.
The graph
Well,
database
this
is on there.
So has a S3 compatible API. Now, indexing some of the every
This is sold by
you know,
Amazon.
every person and their grandmother have a
Which
new
favorite
one
name did
storage
Amazon
today.
stick on
Now
it
with
this time?
EMR,
Donna?
new
EMR?
one.
Yeah, they don't sell it by
every
itself.
company goes
All of them
by-
are good,
they
yeah.
sell it by EMR. And the problem is scale again.
Yeah.
But
It's honestly, it's
which
just
is why we
HBase
bet on
anymore.
Ozone specifically at first, because this thing actually.
Which they didn't do the
But even
S3
if you look
part.
at
We
stats,
did.
Yeah, we actually have
Which is funny.
Yeah.
My
Anyway,
problem with
I'm not gonna,
administration
I'm not
is
gonna touch on
operations.
what's going on.
Absolutely.
No, I didn't know
This
you had
mentions
to
a very
roll it,
nice
so
use
Cloudera
case for time
itself
series
was, you know,
because of
basically
that
just providing hardware.
being
I mean,
key
you also
value.
could,
No.
like,
If
No,
I
no,
make
no,
a time
like,
series
looking
key
at the difference
very
between
quick
scalability
access,
and,
especially if it's something you know what you're having and just write it
Yes.
along.
specifically
That could be
for
very
the
nice.
30 to 50 petabyte
That is a
range.
common use
Yeah,
case.
exactly.
I have
So you hit
a
the nail
large
on the
energy
head, right?
company
Like,
in
this is something
North
that we've seen.
Carolina pushes
And this is what we
all of the
invested
data
heavily
off
in
every
also.
meter
And you,
and
I advise
every
you to,
house
first of all,
in that state
we
goes
when we
into
say we invested,
HBase.
so that just so we hear all this
And
stuff,
it works out really well for that. And they're doing that through
Because your roadmap
NiFi
is
pushing
gonna be,
HBase.
we're gonna build features, we're gonna
So
focus
that's
on
a
this
very
integration
nice
so
use
it's
case
more-
there.
Exactly.
We've got a lot of
So
people
the
working on it,
integration
but it's
points that we're looking
again,
at for-
it's
for
an
the-
open
for now
community.
are the,
So we
public
have some
cloud.
other serious
One
people
from
there.
S3, Azure,
Apple and Salesforce are two different
and then-
companies,
and
so we need a
then-
comma in
and then
there.
Ozone,
That would be an
Ozone.
interesting merger, but that hasn't happened yet.
Gotcha.
Yep.
But
So
as you
anything
can
else?
see,
Yeah,
these
we
are
sort of
serious
need
people,
that on-premise
and a lot of them who are clients who are getting beyond.
It's not for
what's
them
that magic
selling
number?
it, it's
Is
for
it million
internal
or
use.
Yeah, whatever happening.
Because
in
there's
Linux,
some
I don't know.
serious.
Yeah, there's only,
large
we can
cloud
only store in
applications that are using
HDFS. It's sort of
Like
one of those
they
things
only
you
have,
don't know
I
is
don't know
there.
how many
It was,
files.
it was a couple
But it's
million
there
files,
'cause
which you think
there's
seems like a
really-
lot. But
Other
at
than
some
Google,
point, we have
which you don't
clients
see
who are
on there
like,
because they
well,
sort of
we
have
want a
their own
billion
thing,
files.
the big table.
So that's
No
why
one
we
else
had
has
to
a
do
big
something.
table.
So
Really,
now,
HBase
yeah,
has some of the
nowadays, like
features
the-
Cassandra
you see the
doesn't
numbers of
really
Ozone?
have for stability, so
Dude,
that's why
they
it's
are-
here.
Yeah,
we're pretty big on it because we have some
They're not as
some of
good
our
as the big
largest
ass file like
customers put
HDFSs,
some
yes.
of the most serious
Right.
data here. When we
But,
say
um,
operational
I mean,
data,
yeah, there's some
it's
trade-offs.
ones for
But there's literally
running your
no
business,
more
for
file
running
forms.
factories,
which was a pain.
running
Which
serious
is
applications
still
that have
good.
very low latency.
So
Right.
this is the big deal.
And we
Our
just
operational
there's more
database
features in there to improve
fully
it.
in
Again,
the public
obviously being able to
cloud,
run on the cloud,
able to use
some of the memory
uh,
enhancements,
object
all
storage
nice for the main
features,
parts of the
improvements
data.
to replication.
That really helps us out. You know, makes it
Fun
easier
stuff.
and cheaper for you to run
Again,
this on the public cloud. You know, there's
That
a
makes
lot
it,
of.
use the
I have all these slides
cloud
up
optimized.
online.
I guess they can't say
There's
cloud.
some new
This is
things
pretty
coming.
cool.
Nita, do you
So-
want to talk about
Yeah,
some
I
of
mean,
this?
yeah,
This
so-
work
that has been done
I mean,
specifically
one of the
on
things
three connectors
that is
in the
interesting
cloud
that I was talking about is,
platform, 'cause, you know, you would hear that
you know, some of
the
one of the, like I was saying earlier,
people
there's
with
caveat
the
with
cloud,
using HBase, which is
provider,
that
they
you
will optimize
kind of
their
don't want to
services,
do
their
this
name
kind of large
services to
joins
go
and
to their,
transformation like
their
ETL
object
type of
storage.
stuff. So what
we
people are
found
doing
that
is
wasn't
they're using
necessarily the case.
so
So there's a lot of
then
things
they're
that are
releasing
coming in
and
this new
like,
version of HBase
SQL,
and Hive and etc. that
just
were
run continuously,
specifically
that's
to
great.
optimize for
So
this.
there's a lot of the things that we've
Um,
been working on.
the
And so we're
trade-off
adding
that
like
you
the
get from
dynamic
separating
support that is in
compute
Phoenix
and
going to
storage
Spark. So there's
is
a lot
the
of work
latency,
with the
and
Spark
if you
integration
rely
specifically that's going to be
if you
interesting.
add the latency, plus you rely
And then,
on
you know, a
storage
lot
and
of the work has been done, you saw in
very
Phoenix as
fast.
well. So the data types
you
and
start
so on and
having
so forth to
issues,
make
we
it
optimize
even
the
more
connection,
usable. So
and
now we
also
get to
optimize
focus.
the caching.
We spend a lot of effort
in HBase,
making sure that we have the right connections
maintain
to
to
the different
on an attached
blob storage, right? That's
storage.
a lot of the
To make
engineering.
sure that we
on
get
this.
this
Now
it's getting
otherwise,
more focused
you know,
towards you
using
won't have the
latency.
performance that you.
Well, I guess it also
Yeah, especially for scalability,
smarter
the
about
transactions will be a big
infrastructure
one.
you're using for scalability.
You know,
So
putting large objects in there. These are all really nice things. More features coming. Another one not listed is
so this
Flink
is
connector
exactly
for
what we're doing
HBase,
with some
which
of
will
our
be a very nice way to load
right
data
here,
extremely fast.
where this is
So
where we
before I show my
dive
little
deeper into
demo,
it, but there's also
you want to show them the fun
a
cloud
big
piece?
part of the stack.
Or if you don't want to,
investing
it's
in
up to you.
No, that's cool.
Understanding
Do you have
way that
the?
workloads
I
are
sent you
running
the.
Yeah, I'm
and making
gonna
recommendations in terms of size and scale based on the workloads themselves.
So just share yourself in the.
Which it goes
thing there.
beyond the monitoring of the infrastructure itself. Is how do your customer, how do the people that are actually using the data what is their experience?
Or I could do a song and dance while you're connected. So exactly here, if we need to, you know, shut down the system, you know, you could bring that back up without anything other than just having that S3 data. So that's the really big feature
Alright, so
for something in the cloud is to be able to get back
if you think that you need to know
and you know not use those resources,
what I'm going to show
just
you
use the
is a
cheap
little bit of a,
storage. This can save you a lot of money because we have people who, you know, maybe at certain times of the day or month, you got a huge amount of things going on, and then other times maybe you don't. Here is a nice solution to that, really saving you a lot of compute costs,
different
which could be a lot.
clusters on the
Not my money.
on your
I store all my data in a hat.
VPC, for lack of a better term, or on your resources.
So HBase has a
idea
ton of different
is that,
connectors, huge number of things working
simplified
with
a
it.
lot of the
It's got all the
deployment
security
of,
and governance, all the things you'd
anything
expect to
that we
have
do
in there.
by
There's some interesting
basically
things
taking
built on
care
top of this
of
where we see some
all
other
of
use
the
cases.
security,
The
governance,
geospatial
like
thing is
setting
pretty
up
interesting.
automatic Kerberos and all
The
that
solar
kind of
piece
stuff.
as well.
Solar.
So you can just set something. And if you think about it,
The
the
graph
way
database
that
is
it
on
works,
there.
Solar is search right there. No, over here. Indexing some of the stuff. I guess I'll
This is sold by Amazon. Which particular, which favorite
I
name
have
of
one
Amazon's
slide that
this
is
time?
EMR.
Is Donna? EMR?
Yeah, they don't sell it by itself.
They
Yeah.
say that it's probably VMR.
Yeah.
So if you think about it, the way that you connect to
honestly,
it,
it's just HBase.
and I'm going to show you the HBase piece specifically.
So what you do is you have
Which
your
they-
identity that is managed by
Yeah.
whatever your SSO provider.
Yeah, I was actually having
This is
a
funny.
about that.
You use this identity and it's
Anyway,
maintained
I'm not gonna-
mapped
I'm not gonna touch
to
on,
your
on
management
what's
console that can be
going on.
either hosted
This
by
mentions a very nice
you
use
guys
case
or
for
by
time
us.
series
In this case,
because
by
of
us.
that.
and then you're
being
gonna
key
deploy
value.
this thing. And
If
this
I
is
make
important to
a time
understand
series key,
because this
very
gives
quick
you
access,
this
especially if it's something you know what
ability
you're having
to
and just
have
writing it along.
to
That could be
spin your
very
cluster
nice.
up and down without
That is a
losing
common use case I have.
because the data itself
a
is going
large
to be
energy
stored on your
company
buckets
in,
or
North
your
Carolina
containers.
pushes
But
all
what you have
the
is
data
this
off
layer
every
that contains
meter
all of the
at
security and the
every
metadata.
house in
that we
that
call like
state goes
SDF,
into
which is
HBase.
basically shared services. This is basically
And
a couple
it
of
works
nodes that
out
are
really
running
well for that.
serve
They're doing
long-lasting
that through
services.
NiFi.
And
pushing
from
it.
there, you're going to spin up
So
different
that's, very
clusters.
nice
And the cool
use
thing
case
about it is
there.
that
We've got a
depending
lot
on
of
what you
people
want to
working
do,
on it, but
you
it's,
can have
again,
different size, you
it's
can
an
have
open
different
community.
elements
So
in it,
we have some
and
other
you can have
serious
some of them
people
that is
there.
going to be more
Apple
like
and
VM
Salesforce
type,
are
where
two
it's
different
traditional
companies,
cluster,
so we need a
and some of
common
them
there.
will be
That would be an
kind of
interesting merger, but that
experiences,
hasn't
right? So
happened yet.
it's
But as you can see, these are
containerization of very
serious people,
specific
and a lot of them
services
were
such as
contributing
Hive,
to it.
Impala,
It's not for
Spark,
them
that
selling
kind of
it, it's for
It
internal
all
use.
ties back into
Because
this
there's some
long-lasting
seriously large cloud
metadata and
applications that are
security.
using
right?
HBase. It's
So
sort of one of those
if I
things
look at
you
what
don't
it
know
looks
is
like
there,
in real life,
but it's there because there's really, other than
Yes, it
Google,
looks like this.
which
So
you
this
don't
is,
see on there because
we
they
use
sort of
Lockout
have their
to-
own thing
to
with the
net,
big
but just
table.
to show you that I'm not
No one
showing
else
this
has a
is
big table.
our stuff. This is
Really,
really
HBase has some of the
me as
features
Cloudera.
Cassandra
And
doesn't
when I'm
really
connecting
have
and
for
passing my
stability, so
identity to
that's why it's here.
to
We're
CDP
pretty
and then
big
connecting
on it because we have
myself,
some
And so
some
you'll
of
see
our
that we
largest
have different
customers put
elements,
some
and
of the
you can
most
see,
serious data here. When we say
these are
operational
the data
data,
cluster, which
it's
is
ones
traditional
for
form factor,
running
and
your
some
business, for
experiences,
running
as well as some
factories,
additional services.
running serious applications that have
So if I
very
go to
low
management console,
latency.
you'll see that this is something they share with every
And we
solution
just,
engineer
there's
in every
more
company,
features
so
in
you'll
there
see
to
a bunch of
improve it.
different,
Again, obviously being able to run on the
environment,
cloud, some of the
some
memory
environment that are,
enhancements,
you know,
all nice
registering
features,
what we call
improvements to
classic clusters, so they
replication,
use HTTP cluster, so
you
this
know,
stuff that is
fun
running on-prem,
stuff.
you can connect it to it,
Again,
start moving data around.
you know, there's a
And
lot
you
of,
also have, like, some
I have
Azure,
all these slides up
environments,
online.
some AWS
There's
and
some new
stuff.
things
If I
coming.
move mine,
So
You want to talk
to my
about some of this?
environment,
This
this is what
will
you
lead
Yeah,
into
so- I mean,
That's
one
why
of the
it's the one
things
that I use in Flux,
that is
like this
interesting
one.
that I was talking about is,
And you'll see that I have my, you know, my SDX, my
you know, some of
data lake because to make sure
one
that
of the,
everybody's
like I was saying
confused.
earlier, this
This is literally just
don't want to do this kind of
last
last
service.
joints and
But then you'll see that I have this
stuff.
operational
So what
database
people are
cluster
doing
that is
is
basically
using
just
Spark
running
on top of it.
HBase
but then they're really lazy. And they're
but
like,
basically
"Oh,
just
it's
HBase. Like
SQL,
that Phoenix
so
if I wanted
you
to.
do Spark on
The
Phoenix,
point is this is a
that's
small
great.
cluster
So
that
there's a lot of the
contains
things that
only
we've been
the,
working on. And
the
so
HBase
we're adding like the
services.
dynamic
You know, the
support that is in
HDFS
Phoenix
having
going to
to work.
Spark. So
So
there's
we
a lot
talked
of
about,
work with the Spark
Zookeeper for
integration
doing the load
specifically that's
balancing,
going to be
and
interesting.
Knox being
And then, you know, a lot of the work has been done you saw in Phoenix as well. So the
I never have
data
to
types
specify
and
my
so on and so
identity.
forth to
I
make
never
it
have
even
to
more usable. So
specify
now we get to focus.
user
spend a
password.
lot of
My
effort,
identity is passed
making
by
sure
the
that we have the right
management console,
connections
and it's synced
to,
up with my
to different
my Kerberos
blob storage, right? That's
the
a lot of the engineering.
really cool
on
fun
this,
factor
but
of
now
this is that if
it's
I
getting
want
more
tomorrow,
focused towards usability,
you see that this is actually running like
Yeah, especially for
I think it's
scalability,
7 instances
the
where I can
transactions
do
would
is
be
I
a
can
big one.
resize it.
You know,
I can say, hey,
putting
just
large
give me,
objects in
you know,
there. These
yeah,
are all really
7
nice
more,
things.
worker
More
nodes.
features coming.
And I click resize.
Another
so
one
that
not
we have
listed
the
is
spin up a
Flink
bunch
connector
of,
for
nodes,
HBase,
that's right,
which
and
would be
figure out
a
how
very
to,
nice way to load data
how to
extremely
distribute the different
fast.
service, right? So if I
So before I show my
I
little
go here,
demo,
you'll see that,
you want to
know,
show
all
them
my
the
stuff
fun
is
cloud
being,
piece,
being
or if you don't want to,
all
it's up to you.
what is behind the scene is
Do you have the? I sent you the.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
we have a couple of templates, but like I said, ultimately this is just a.
So just
a
share
table. So you
yourself
just
in the,
send this to the management console. Say, hey, I want this cluster with this definition. You can have your own definition. So for your specific elements. We also have
Or I
a
could
CLI
do a song and
similar
dance
to what
while
you
you're
have in
connected.
AWS. Essentially. There we go. And
lot of
but we
people-
also maintain a catalog, and in the catalog you have this is where we know how to optimize the different services based on the different instances, right? So it will recommend you, for
alright,
instance,
so
the coordinator nodes.
So if
we
you think that you
like
need to
run
know,
in a
so
ES3
what I'm going to show you
versus
is
the
get a little bit
the
of
master
a,
node is more alpha.
so I'm going to
give you like the latest and greatest features that we have on our tech. So this is Cloudera data platform running. It's a management platform that is running on top of
I'd like to read some of the stuff that's there.
yeah, the management console.
So there it
we
is.
manage and then
Better?
that pushes.
That does make a difference,
different,
yep.
So
I can make out maybe
clusters
this
on
type,
the
but I don't quite know what I was looking at.
on
yeah.
your,
So this is the instances in AWS.
more on your
But the cool thing about this is that
the idea.
so you
is
can
that,
specify your own
we
thing, like you can
simplified a lot of
say like,
the
hey,
deployment
instead of,
of,
you can decide whether you want to store it in
anything
S3
that we
or
do
HDFS.
by
The
basically
cool
taking
thing
care
about this is
of
that
everything that you do,
security, governance,
once you
setting up,
once you
automatic
specify
server
it,
and all
the
that kind of
security
stuff.
and the access of it
So you can
will
just
be
set something. If you think
it
about
will be
it,
set up the way that it
Ranger
works,
itself.
if I go to Ranger, I will have an HBase service, and I can say, I have an HBase service, and I can say, hey, this guy has access only to this data.
Now, the really cool part, and the thing that we worked on and that people didn't quite
if you think about it,
that
the
are
way
not
that you
necessarily
connect to it,
super
and I'm going to show you the HBase
intelligible with
specifically.
what's
So
going on in the cloud. What
is-
you do is you have your
it's a
identity that is
server
managed by whatever your
um,
SSO provider is. That is tied to my AD. You
because
use this identity.
you know,
If you remember the stuff that I showed you earlier, your management console, like in this, you guys, or this essentially will, and then you're gonna deploy this thing, and this is important to understand because this gives you this will basically take your AD and with the token make sure that you have a group without losing any responding. Because the data itself is going to be stored on your buckets. It's very easy for us to take this AD and put it into a What you have is this layer that contains all the security and the metadata that we call like SDX, which is basically shared services. This is basically all the nodes that are running if you use our stack. And from there, you're going to spin up different clusters. And the cool thing about it is that depending on what you want to do, you can have different size, you can have different elements in it, and you can have some of them that is going to be more like VM type, and we support some of them will be kind of experiences, right? So it's containerization of very on top of it, you can have those services such as Hive, Impala, Spark, you can have all goes ties back into this long-lasting metadata and security, right? This type of security that is very, very hard to implement at scale on the EMI and the AWS
it looks like this. So
world
this is
automated, right? And again, you saw me access every one of those elements. The only thing that I did was I just clicked on the link. And then because it's using my token through Knox, it knows my identity. These are the data hub. I don't have to worry about any of it. So that's kind of
Real single sign-on.
a real single sign-on. Like this stuff that took 6 months for you to carry out the cluster when you had Embari, this is automated, right? So which is very cool. And that also then leaves us the ability to containerize those services, and we can talk about the experiences a little bit later. But currently we have a data warehousing experience on this version. I'm not showing you the HBase version, but if you think about it, this is it's going to be a completely different setup, right? So instead of having to specify a cluster, you will specify a t-shirt size of what you want to do.
And you'll see that
so, and I'm going to just do that, and then we can talk about NiFi, because NiFi is the cool stuff. But
to make sure that everybody's confused.
what you can do is basically say, hey, I want a virtual warehouse for my BI team, right? And I want them to run Hive LLAP or Impala. The only thing that you have to do is specify a catalog. So the catalog is
but basically just
the HMS.
I could add Phoenix if I wanted to.
Hive install.
The point is this is a small
It's running on
cluster
SDX, if you remember. It's running on this long service. So the data itself is on S3, but the meta store is
we talked about
actually, I'm talking specifically about the database that holds the meta store. So we use
from this UI,
new service called
I never have to specify my identity. I never have to
Red Beams, not Redshift. Don't make me say what I didn't say.
User
And then we use RDS or Postgres to store it on Azure and
my Kerberos credentials.
RDS on AWS, Postgres on Azure, on-prem. You can do whatever you want.
You see that this is actually running
creating a virtual
I
warehouse.
think it's running 7 instances. What I can do is I can resize it. I can say, hey, just give me,
They do this themselves, or do
7 more.
No, you can do. They could do it themselves. The cool thing about this is like, you can split.
Here's my service catalog, you decide what you need,
and figure out how to.
No, that's even a better part. So first of all, this is not running on node. I mean, this is not running on EC2 nodes. This is running on
ultimately what is this behind the scenes
on container Kubernetes nodes. Right? We use EKS for this. So what you do is, let's say you specify a t-shirt size. Say, hey, I think that at most one query will need 10 nodes to run. And we're talking about NiFi nodes there. What's going to happen is you're going to have like 9 people that are coming and start banging
we
in
also
it,
have
right?
a CLI.
And then if there's a 10th person that's coming, and I have a design capacity, free capacity of
maintain a catalog, and in the catalog
1.
You have,
As soon as I only have 1 slot available out of the 10, it will spin up another t-shirt size.
instances.
Now,
right? So
I was
you
joking
want
about
to
setting up the AKS
for
cluster
instance,
takes
that
like
the coordinator
setting up the
nodes,
catalog.
we
The
like to run
first
in,
infrastructure the
ES3,
first time takes about
ES3 large
20
versus
minutes.
the,
It's still
the
AKS.
master node is more
But once you have
complex,
this, the virtual warehouses, the first time you spin it up takes about 1 minute, and then for each and every increment, takes about like 20 seconds. And after 300 seconds, after 5 minutes, everything goes down.
Sure. So there.
So you and the only by you doing this, once you have set this up, the only thing that you're providing to your
this
to your
the
team
instance
is a JDBC endpoint.
AWS.
That's it.
But the cool thing about this is that,
And remember, all
so
of the
you
access
can specify
that you
your
set up
own
in Ranger
thing, like
still apply.
say
Right.
like, hey.
So
instead
it's
of
very,
something
very,
inside
very
your
easy.
storage necessary
And this
Don't
is
have to copy data anywhere.
You don't have
the
to
cool
copy
thing
data
about this
anywhere.
is that
Like,
everything that you do,
and
once you
you know, this is
specify
clearly
the
a
security and the
response
access of it
to
will
like, the
be,
snowflakes of the world and so on.
It will be set up.
But there's a
in
few things. So
Ranger
first,
itself.
in
So
terms
if I
of
go to
benchmark,
Ranger, I will have an HBase service.
and
I can
you know,
say,
it's illegal for me to say even more than that,
I
but
have an
it is
HBase service and I
much
can say,
faster.
hey, this
right?
guy has access on
Because
this.
think about it, it's actually
Now,
running
the
Hive
really cool
and
part, the
LAP
thing that we worked
on
on, and
containers.
people
So
did
it's like quite super fast.
That are not necessarily
And
super.
the data is
What's
actually
going on in the
persisted in
cloud
a way
is
that
you
let's
will
say I
take
have a
you hostage,
Kerberos,
right?
the data is still
It is
open
tied to my
it's
AD
on a
because
format
you
that
see-
is
you know,
can
if
be
you
used
remember
by
the
any other engine
the
if
stuff
you
that I
want
showed
to.
you earlier,
And
in
it's
in this,
literally in S3. It's
this
not hidden
essentially
behind
will-
a specific,
oh,
you know, a specific database. Right.
Uh,
But they're going to charge you,
this
and you can only take
will
it off.
basically
take it away
take your
by
AD
one
and,
single
and,
file host
and
that is the
with the
JDBC.
token, make sure that you have a group that.
So
is
this
corresponding.
stuff, like,
You write permissions and stuff.
the question
I'm gonna be
is,
honest with you guys.
it's
when
very
we
easy
announced
for us
that
to take this
CDP was
AD
going to
and put it
come,
into
like,
a Kerberos
January,
by a free
I was
API.
kind of like,
But how do you translate this
Alright.
in permissions? We'll see what happens.
in
This
the
stuff
proper
here, what we do for the data
or
warehousing,
automatically.
what
If
we
you
are
use,
doing
if
for
you use
Spark
our stack, right?
on
So this is why we introduce ID Broker.
principle. And
ID
what we're
Broker
doing
will
with
do,
operational,
it's a new element of
experience
NOS.
and the flow
We'll do the
experiences that are
mapping
coming.
between your
I
groups
don't
in
think-
CDP.
And
and
I
your
think it's
IAM
fair
role.
to say that we are
Okay.
way ahead.
And
We
in terms of
support,
technology
like,
in the
you
market.
can have different teams that
More
have
likely
like
to be-
very
I
specific
can
locations.
take Databricks,
for
I can
instance,
take
Snowflake, I can
S3,
take all those guys.
and
on top of it,
for
you
run
can
for the
have
money,
those
because of
fine-grained
the
policies
optimization
that
that
say
we're
you
talking
access Hive or
And the
HBase,
operational
you can
simplicity.
have
Right.
color,
So,
row,
again, all of this
row level
stuff
filtering,
is
masking
for you to
policies,
try,
and so on and so forth.
but this is what we've been
This,
working
this
on.
type
and
of
so
security,
to go back
it
to
is
the
very,
roadmap
very
that you
hard
were
to
mentioning,
implement at scale
Tim,
on,
is that
you know,
like
the
today
EMR
I'm showing you
an Impala engine to do
is
this.
is
Tomorrow
automated.
it could be an
Right.
HBase engine.
And
Again, you saw me access
all right, that's
anyone,
kind of
every one of those
what I
elements.
have
The
for
only
CDP.
thing that I
And if you can't tell by the tone of
that
my
I
voice,
did,
actually,
was I just clicked on the link, and then because it's using my token through Knox, it knows my identity.
He is
So I
kept
don't have to
cloud.
worry about anything. So that's kind of
Real
right.
single sign-on.
A real single sign-on. Like this,
NiFi.
this stuff that took 6
Yeah,
months
but-
for you to categorize.
And
as
you
a
see,
cluster
my
when you
name
had
is
a bari.
Mr.
This is
NiFi.
automated,
That's right.
right?
Because
So
I
which
find a way to
which is
put
very
NiFi
cool.
in everything.
And that you know, that also then leaves
It's
us
sometimes
the ability
not
to
the best place
containerize
for it
those
to be.
services. And we can talk
But in
about
this
the,
case,
the experiences
it
a little
makes
bit
it
later,
a lot
but
easier. We showed you that.
currently we
pushing
have
the
a
HBase has a lot of
data
advantages.
warehousing experience on this
But
version.
writing
I'm not showing you the HBase
into
version,
stuff
but if you think about
and
it,
doing it
this
on the
is
command line,
it's going
or
to be a
doing it in
completely
a
different
simple
setup,
Java
right?
program.
So instead of having to
compile,
specify a
deploy
cluster,
it,
you will specify.
that's a level
a
of
t-shirt
effort
size
that
of what you want
I
to
don't
do.
want to do.
So-
I don't want to do any of that
And I'm going
command
to just
line
do
stuff
that, and then we
anymore.
can talk about
So we
NiFi,
have
because NiFi is the cool
Full
stuff. But
GUIs now.
what
we
you
have
can
the
do is
ability
basically
to
say, hey, I want a
interact
virtual
with,
warehouse for my BI team, right?
HBase from
And
a
I want them to
UI.
run
We don't
Hive
need to go to
LLAP
command
or
line
Impala.
to access our
The only
data.
thing that you have to do is
My
specify
data
a
is
catalog.
accessible
So the catalog
from the
is
same place. I can look
the-
at
the-
Hive
the,
tables and
the
Impala
HMS.
tables.
The
Very
Hive
simple.
It is running on SDS.
So,
too,
and
right?
I
It's
can
running
even
on the
add
load
data
services. So
right from
the data
web,
itself
which
is on
can be
S3,
spun
but
up on
the
any
meta
cloud.
store is
They, spin up, run for an hour,
actually,
and then go
I'm
away.
talking
Very simple.
specifically about the
I mean, why do we want to
database
use
that
this
holds
for
the meta store,
apps?
so we
Like, I come
use
from the app world.
new
I used to
service
use
called
work
Redshift.
at Pivot.
No, sorry.
So why do I
Red
want this
Beans,
for
not
apps?
Redshift. Don't let me say what I
You
didn't
know,
say.
low latency.
And then we use
I
RDS
can put a
or
lot of
Postgres
data
to
in
sort
there. there. I can
storage
get it
on
out
Azure
very easily.
and
It's has really strong
RDS
security
on
in there.
AWS, Postgres on
It's
Azure.
very nice for whatever
On-prem,
kind
you
of
can do whatever
apps
you
I'm
want.
doing. And for me, I want to do NiFi apps because I don't want to write code, but I would still want to scale out to, say, 15 petabytes a day of ingest, which I have a couple of telecoms doing.
No, you can do it. They could do
These
themselves.
are
The
all
cool
the
thing
things
about
I
this is
could
like,
do with HBase.
yeah, you can split.
no code. And I'll show you the demo how easy it is to
No, that's
take
even
any
the
data I
better
get
part.
from
So
anywhere
first of all, this
push it into HBase.
is not running on Node.
And when
I
I
mean,
push
it's
it
not
into
running
HBase
on
with this one,
EC2 nodes.
I
This
take
is
something
running
that
on
has a schema, even though
on
we
container
said,
on
the
Kubernetes.
tyranny of the
Right? We
schema.
use EKS.
But when it
So
comes
what
down
you
to
do
it, some people
is,
still
let's say
want the
you
data
specify a
to be in a
t-shirt size. Say,
consistent
hey, I
form.
think that
Or they
at
want
most
it to
one
look
query
like
may-
something, so
will
when I
need
try to
10 nodes
query it
to
or
run,
get it
right? And
out,
we're talking about
it's a
DC
little more
nodes there.
straightforward. So
Um,
we literally just
What's
pick,
going to happen
you
is
know,
you're
a
gonna
couple
have
things
like
from a drop
9
down,
people that are coming.
or we
and
set up a
start banging
service.
it,
We've
right?
added some new
And then
ones.
if there's a 10th
This
person
one is cool. I
that's
can
coming,
now use
and I
HBase
have
as a
design
lookup.
capacity,
So now
free
I can
capacity
do
of
ETL really simple. Data
one.
comes in. Since
as
I've
soon as I
got
only have
one of
one
the 10
slot available
fastest key
out of
value
the 10,
stores in the
it will
world.
spin up another
Then
t-shirt
if
file.
I have to look up a
Now,
field and
I
map
was
it to
joking
another
about setting
one,
up the
I can do
AKS
that
cluster
with
takes
HBase
like
and do that
setting
with
up the
no
catalog.
coding,
The
which is very
first
nice.
infrastructure the first time takes about.
Again, we
20
mentioned that
minutes,
how
it's
easy it
unique,
is.
But once
I'm
you
not
have
going to
this,
show you the
virtual
slides because we
warehouses,
we were
the
lucky
first
to
time
have
it's really
Paul
nice.
here,
Takes about
do
1
it
minute,
live,
and then for each
which
and every
was very
increment,
cool.
takes about like 20 seconds.
So what we can do.
And after 300 seconds, after 5 minutes, everything goes down. So you and
To
you
have
only-
my own
you-
face on it?
But you doing this once you
No,
you,
we have
set this up. The
one of
only
our
thing that you're
guys,
providing
Andre,
to your,
is
to your team.
he's
is
the
a
other
JDBC
Mr.
endpoint.
Cloud. He's
That's it.
Mr. Make stuff easy for
And
Tim.
remember,
So
all of
we
the
have a way to
access
spin up
that
a
you set up in
workshop in
Ranger
about an hour
still
that I
apply.
could support 40
Right.
people.
so it's very,
And it
very,
comes
very
with your
easy.
own login screen that
and
has
don't
links to all your stuff.
You don't have to copy
dynamically.
data anywhere. Like,
And then I can
and-
see who
and,
else has clusters here.
You know, this is
Log
clearly
into
a.
it. So this is a nice little
response
tool.
to,
This is all
like,
built
snowflakes of the
dynamically.
world and so on.
Puts the newest
But
image
there's
of
a
whatever
few
we
things. So
want
first,
into the
in terms
cloud,
of benchmark,
including gives us a link so we have web SSH on there.
It's illegal for me to say
So I don't even need
that,
command
but
line for
it is-
anything.
It's much faster, right?
And then underneath
because think
that,
about it, it's actually running
as he was
high
showing you, this is similar
on
to what he
containers,
was
so
doing,
it's like
but
super,
this is
super
not
fast.
the CDP for the
And,
public cloud. This is
um,
the CDP data center
The
version.
data is actually
This is
persisted
the
in a
one
way
that I run on my own infrastructure.
take you
This could be
hostage,
running
The
in
data
my
is still
office. This happens
open.
to be running on a
It's in
standard
format that is- you
VM
can read
in
like Any
Amazon,
other engine if you want to.
but it could be running anywhere. And what's
it's
nice
literally
is
in S3.
I am
it's not
running
hidden behind. It's
all
just,
of this in one cluster.
You know,
So I'm running
specific
all the
data
latest
that's
streaming
Where
plus
they're
our
gonna
friend
charge you,
HBase in there.
and you can only take
So it makes it
take
very
away
easy
by
to do
one
these
little
things.
file host that is a
So what
JDBC.
I have here in my little app,
So this stuff, like,
I'll just load that up.
and I'm gonna be honest with you guys. When we announced that CDP was going to come, like
Probably
in
gotta make
January,
this a little.
I was kind of like.
So
alright,
what I have here
see
is
what
in
happens.
one case,
But this stuff.
I
here,
have
what we do
NiFi
for
acting as a
data
web
warehousing,
server.
what,
So that if I
what
want to
we are doing
provide
for
a
Spark
REST
on
API to
Redis
anyone
is
who's
same
writing an
principle.
app to get to
And
that
what we're doing with
HBase.
operational,
So this is what I'll
experience
pass
and
in a
inflow
key,
experiences that are coming.
and I'll get back,
I don't think,
a JSON
and I think it's
representation
fair
of the
to
data.
say that we are
So
way
it makes it
ahead.
very easy
in
for
terms
someone
of
to
technology
integrate
in the
that into a microservice or
like
whatever
we-
they want.
I can take
And this is
Databricks,
how
I can
hard the
take
code
Snowflake, I can
is.
take all
This
those
is the
guys,
code.
for run for their money
So what
because
happens
of the
is you
optimization
pass in
we
that
provide.
data.
And the
I say
operational
what
things.
table it is in HBase.
So again,
That's
all of
the
this stuff
HTTP
is
parameter saying
for you
what
to
key
try.
they want to see.
But this is what we've
And
been
then I
working
just
on.
return
And
it
so
as
to
JSON.
go back to the roadmap that you were
That's a
mentioning,
whole web application
is
that could
like
scale
today
up
I'm showing
to
you
thousands
Impala
of
engine to do
concurrent
this.
users
Tomorrow it could
and
be
hits
an
one of the
HBase.
largest data stores that you could have.
All right, that's kind of
That's the whole
what I
app.
have for CDP.
You know, there's
And
there's
if
no
you can't tell
coding.
by the tone of my
This
voice,
is
I
automatically
actually-
deployed. If I want to add more nodes to this cluster, I just add it and they'll dynamically be added
Yeah.
and they'll automatically load balance between them.
He is
So that's
Captain
kind of
Clark.
nice. Another thing I'm doing
That's right.
is I'm taking data from
NiFi.
specifically since Paul's
And you
here.
see, my
I'm
name
grabbing
is
Philadelphia
Mr.
Prime
NiFi.
data.
That's right.
So you
I
know
find
if
a
you
way
should
to
go back
put
home or not.
NiFi in everything up Paul.
Yeah, we might. I'm not going to search for Paul, but we could. He's here, so the crime rate
But in
went
this down.
case,
So I did a
it makes
search
it
an
a
hour
lot
before he
easier. It
left,
shows
and
you
then
that
now,
pushing into
and we can see the crime rate has dropped 12%, which is nice.
But writing
So-
into
So this is as
stuff
easy
and
it
doing
is.
on the
He does
command line or
cloud
doing it in
crime.
a simple Java program.
So
have
this is as
compile,
easy as it is.
deploy
I took
from a
level
public
of effort
source
that,
of data.
I don't want
it's
to
a
do.
REST API.
I don't want to do
with
any of that
JSON.
command line stuff.
Did a couple of
So we have
transformations,
full GUIs
and now I
now.
just push it into
And we have the
HBase.
ability to
And I'm
interact
pushing-
with
Well, I just pulled out
HBase
300,000
from
rows.
a UI.
This is how hard it
We
is
don't
to
need
read
go
that
to
data
command
back.
line
I'm
to
just going to
access
scan
our
it in
data.
order.
So
My
you're
data is
using one
accessible
VM?
from the same
The,
place.
one
I can
VM
look at
has
Hive
HBase
tables,
running.
quality.
Yeah.
I've got a Flink
Very
app running.
simple.
Yeah, and you have
NiFi, Kafka,
So, and I can
SMM,
even
add
So what-
data
so you
right
run.
from
So can
the
you show
web,
us some
which can be
stats on this?
spun up on any cloud. You want to see
You know,
what's
spin up, run for an hour, then go away. Very simple. I mean,
Yeah,
why
how-
do we want to use this
So
for
no,
apps?
how fast did
I
you
come
send
from the
all
app
this,
world, I used to
Oh, how
use
quickly
Work
can you
at
get
So
the data
why
to,
do I want this for apps?
from HBase?
You know,
And then I
low
send it to
latency.
I could
Yeah.
I could turn it
a lot of
on.
data in there. I
Yeah,
can
turn it
get
on.
out very
We'll
easily.
see. I
It's,
get calls from
you know, has
the
really
cloud
strong
team. They're like,
security in there.
"Why is your
It's very nice for
throughput
whatever
at
kind of apps I'm
the
doing.
one thing we'll
And for
find
me,
out
I
is
wanna do
NiFi
apps, 'cause
operates
I
at a
write code,
speed
but I
that's a
still
little
wanna
ridiculous
scale
at
out
times.
to,
Yeah.
say, 15
I've
petabytes
I've
a
been
day of
banned
ingest,
from a couple of public
which I have a
websites
couple of telcoms
because I tried to
doing.
use
And
Imager to
these
store
are
my
all
images,
the things I
but
can do
NiFi
with
can push
HBase.
Yes,
With
1,000
that
images a
code.
second.
And I'll show you
Surprisingly, a
again
company
how
of that
easy
size
it
can't
is
handle
to
that.
take
Or doesn't
anything
want
that
one
is
guy doing
anywhere
that, one or the
and
other.
push it into HBase, and when I push it into HBase with this one, I take something
Yeah,
that
I have a lot of different
has
places I run
I
at.
don't know, we said
I used to work at a
security of the
security
schema,
analytics
but
firm
when it
at
comes
a
down to it,
hosting
some
facility in
people still
Iceland,
want the data to
which
be in a
shows up,
consistent
the
format.
IPs change every 7
Or they
seconds.
want it to look like
So
something.
we
so
can
when I
run
try
it-
to
we can
query
run
it or
stuff
get it
there.
out, it's
I
a
found
little
I
more
can replicate
straightforward.
all the work we did
So we
with a
literally
team of
just
30
pick,
over the course
you
of
know,
2
a couple
years.
things
I
from a
wrote it all in
drop-down,
2 hours in
or we
NiFi.
set up a
Which I was
service.
gonna give it
We've
back to
added
them,
some
but
new ones.
this one is
kinda
So
cool. I can
we
now
are
use
like
HBase as a lookup.
writing like
So now I could do ETL
20,
really
like
simple.
3,000
Data
records
comes
in
in.
like 5
since I've
seconds.
got
Well, that's what we
one of the
had.
fastest
I mean,
key-value
when here I
stores.
forgot I had stuff in
And
there.
If I have to look up a field and map it to another one, I can do
It's
that
pretty
with
quick.
HBase
It's
and do
pretty.
that with no code.
I haven't optimized
very
it. This is just
No,
out of
exactly,
box.
that's the point.
Again,
It's
we
gonna
mentioned
be
that how
VMware,
easy
but
it is.
stuff
I'm
running
not going to show you the slides because we got we were lucky to have Paul here do it live. This, which was very cool.
If we went to 2015,
So what we can do-
this app here, because we almost did this for a telecom, wrote this
To have my own
themselves.
face on it.
They weren't that far from
No, we have
they had
one of our
this
guys,
was a team of
Andre,
12 guys
is
over the course of
he's the other Mr. Cloud. He's Mr.
Oh,
Make
now we got
stuff
Netflix.
easy for Tim.
So
We're gonna
we
watch
have a way to
Netflix
spin up a
instead.
workshop in about an hour that I could support 40 people.
And it comes with your own login
Sharing
screen that has
stops.
links to all your stuff.
I think we
the point is,
dynamically.
the,
And then
when you
I
cut-
could see
you
who
look at
else
this,
is,
the really
has
what we do
clusters
is
here.
that It makes, and again,
Log into them. So this is a nice
Wi-Fi,
little
I
tool. This
literally
is all
do
built
Google
dynamically.
Wi-Fi on my
Puts
phone,
the
so
newest image of whatever we want into the cloud,
we
including gives us a link so we have web SSH on there. So I don't even need command line for anything. And then underneath that, as he was showing you, this is similar to what he was doing, but this is not the CDP for the public cloud. The server is under data center version. This is the one that I run on
broke
my own
the TV.
infrastructure. This could be running.
We pushed
in my
too much
office.
data
This
for the
happens to
TV
be
here.
running on a standard
doesn't like that
VM
much data.
in Amazon, but it could be running anywhere. And what's nice is I am running all of this in one cluster. So I'm running all the latest
one
streaming
box,
plus our
get
friend
HBase,
HBase in there.
put to
So it makes
Kafka.
it very easy to
For
do
this
these
company was
things.
12 guys.
So what
9
I have
months,
here
they're
in my
writing
little
hand
app-
Java code. Each instance of
Here's the
table
data.
in HBase, someone has to map it out, draw an
Probably
app,
gotta make
build
this
an
a
app,
little
deploy an app.
So, there's
Now
a
if I
So
could
what
just
I
point to
have
any
here is
table.
in one
there's a
case,
functionality part, and you
I
see
have
the
NiFi
features
acting as a
of
web
it.
server,
Just drag and drop,
so
that's
that if
fine.
I want to provide
scale,
a
this
REST
scale.
API to
And
anyone
we
who's
have
writing an app
we have
to get to
for
that
a certain
HBase.
telecom based in New
So
Jersey.
this is what I'll
we
pass
have
in a
15
key,
petabytes going
and I'll
through
get
a
back,
day.
a JSON
15
representation
petabytes
of
is
the
pretty
data.
good scale for
So it
something
makes
that's
it
not
very
considered a
easy for
streaming
someone
app.
to
Yeah.
integrate
So that's
that
why we
into a
moved to- we've
microservice or
added
whatever they
Flink.
want.
Because Flink
And
scales
this is
to
how hard the code is.
Now, 15
This is the
petabytes
code.
might be big for most people.
So what happens
It's
is you
not for
pass in that
Alibaba.
data.
It's not.
I say what
so
table
Alibaba's
it is
been doing doing a lot with Flink,
That's
so we
the
brought
HTTP
Flink into the
parameter
stack.
saying what
Flink
key they want
scales
to
C.
see.
No
and
one's
then I
even
just
come up
return
with
it
a
as
number,
JSON.
but we know at least one
That's
client
a
has
whole web
300,000
application
And they're
that
all
could scale
256
up
gig
to
RAM nodes.
thousands of concurrent
So that's
users and hits
bigger
one of the
scale
largest
than most
data stores
companies
that you
will
could
get to.
have.
So at some point that's
That's
gonna be
the
your
whole
phone,
app.
right?
Well,
And have
bigger-
like
bigger than
three-
my basement.
There's no
Three
coding.
300 processors
This is automatically
on your phone.
deployed. If I want to add more
And
nodes to
the phone will still be
cluster,
slow.
I just
Facebook's
add
still
it,
not
it'll
loading.
dynamically be
I got
added,
300,000
automatically
cores.
load
I
balance
got
between them.
300 terabytes.
So that's kind of
and
nice.
I still
Another
can't
thing
get the
I'm
video of
doing
the cat showing up.
is I'm taking data from
Because it'll just make the cat higher quality. though your
specifically
eye
since
can't see
Paul's
it.
here.
That's right.
I'm grabbing
So
Philadelphia
what's
Prime
cool
data.
about that is it
So
was
you
that
know if
easy
you
to
should go
write
back
the
home
app
or not.
with version control.
Yeah,
we might.
like that
I'm not going to search for
Trump is low
Paul,
today,
but we could. He's here, so the crime rate went down.
Oh, where
So I did a search
Too
an
many
hour
screens
before he left, and
Are
then
you
now,
sharing with
and we can see the crime rate has dropped 12%,
Yeah,
which
what's,
is nice.
Yeah, it's kind of.
So this is
doing,
as easy it is. Yeah, he does cloud crime.
I'm sharing from here to that.
So this is as easy as it is.
to
I
the
took
TV because that makes a
from
lot
a
of
public
sense.
source of data.
So you
it's
saw
a
the
REST
two
API,
boxes.
gives me JSON.
To make it even
Did
cooler,
a couple
I
of
can monitor everything
transformations,
going on
and now I
there.
just push it.
So
into
as the
HBase.
things are coming into
and
Kafka,
I'm pushing.
I can see
Well, I
where
just
that
pulled
data
out
is going and
300,000
view it as
rows.
it's coming
This
through
is
the
how
system.
hard it is to read that
We
data
could see
back.
what block you
I'm
live
just going
on?
to scan it in order.
So you're running.
You're not
this
on
one
Akron
VM?
Street, are you? There's
Oh,
shoot,
one
don't
VM
wanna go
has
there.
that's not
HBase
like, no,
running.
really.
I've got a
Yeah, there's a
Flink
lot
app
of
running.
Yeah, yeah.
there's a lot of
NiFi,
data in there.
Kafka,
So I mean
SMM.
that's how
So
easy
what-
it is
so
to
you run.
take
so can you
data,
show us some
push
stats
it
on
into
this?
HBase or pull it out.
you want to
So
see
for
what's
general users, you don't have to think. You know what do I care what the data
Yeah,
store
how-
is?
So
That's
how
my
fast
favorite
did you
part of
send
NiFi.
this-
I
how
took
quickly
this
can you
demo
get
based on the demo that I put to
data
Kudu.
to
And then I
from
just
HBase
changed the line. So
then I
instead
send it
of
to Kafka?
pushing to
Well, I can turn it on.
to
Yeah, turn it on.
HBase over here.
We'll see.
I
I
get
get calls
click to
from
Kudu,
the cloud team. They're
you know,
like, move that
why
same
is
data
your-
over.
Why is
Sorry,
your
HBase.
throughput at the
You know,
one thing
tomorrow
we'll
someone says,
find out is
Kudu's
NiFi
12 cents cheaper.
operates at
Okay,
a
let's
speed
just, we'll
that's a
pick
little
the name, put the
ridiculous at
table
times.
here,
I have,
pick that
I've
same
been
record
banned
reader.
from a
I'm
couple
doing
of
that
public
in
websites
another
because
demo
I
if
tried
we
to
have
use
time.
Imager to
Yeah, I
store
guess
my
it's stored.
images.
I'm
But
doing
NiFi
that
can push
in, which one?
Yeah, so
1,000
fast.
images a second.
This one
Surprisingly,
I'm
a
pushing
company
to
of that
Kafka
size
into
can't
Kudu.
handle that.
Or doesn't want one guy
Well,
doing
yeah,
that,
Flink
one or the
is
other.
sitting in the middle. Flink is kind of invisible because it runs on Yarn. Yeah, I
It's,
have a lot
this
of
guy
different
up here.
places I run out of.
What are you?
I used to work at a security
Nothing
analytics
interesting,
firm at a
because
hosting
NiFi can
facility
do
in
everything
Iceland.
for me. This is
It
my
shows up,
complex
the
code
IPs
here.
change
It's
every
very
7
sad.
seconds.
I'm not very good
We
at
can run
programming yet,
stuff there.
but I found I could
I read
replicate
from
all the
H-
work
I
we
read
did
from
with a team
Kafka.
of 30 over the
That's
course
it
of
to
2
read from
years.
Kafka.
I wrote it all in 2 hours in
And
NiFi,
then
which I was going to give it back to
if
them,
it's
but
empty, those guys are kind
So
of.
we
And
are
then I
like
just store it back in Kafka.
writing.
But
like
that's all the code it takes to
20,
read from
like
Kafka.
3,000 records
So,
in like 5 seconds.
That's
Well,
why
that's
we
all
like
we
Flink
had.
too. Spark
I
is a
mean,
little
when here I
That's
forgot I
little
had stuff
harder
in
to
there.
work with.
That-
It's
this
literally
is one of
open the
the-
consumer to this
It's pretty quick.
for this
It's
topic.
pretty.
Stream
I
it.
haven't optimized it. This is just
And I
out
can
of
box
box.
That's the point. I can see
File
them in
only.
shitty VM where a bunch of
It's pretty
stuff are
easy,
running
whether it's
that
HDFS.
shouldn't
And
be
we
running.
can set this so it's
and
exactly once.
You,
Flink supports
Yeah,
it. So
this-
does Kafka.
If we
So, I
went
mean,
to
it's
2000,
kind
of nice.
Supporting exactly once?
This app here. 'cause
It
we
is
almost
not.
did
It's
this
only
when
between
Telcom wrote
Kafka
this
and Kafka.
themselves.
They
And
weren't
it
that
slows
far
everything
from
down.
That's
They
the
had
one thing. As soon as
this
people come to
was
me,
a
they go,
team
"I
of
need
12
exactly
guys
one."
over the course of.
I want. I have one record here, one
now
record
we got
there.
Netflix.
I mean, that's why we like Upsert, so I don't care.
We're gonna
Give it
watch
to me
Netflix
twice.
instead.
I'll still save it. It'd be probably cooler. It
Nah,
doesn't
so
matter.
this is, I don't know if you guys
What?
are thinking
Sharing
like
stopped.
exactly once there is very.
I
yeah,
think
the
we
point
still
is,
use
I mean,
cases where you
the,
actually need it, like
when you
exactly
look
once.
at this, the reason why we show this is that it makes, and again,
And
NiFi,
exactly
I literally
once
do a brew install
makes-
NiFi on my
it's very
software,
easy
so
to have
it's-
exactly
it's
once,
pretty.
you know, in a Kafka
We
browser,
record,
but the
you
problem
don't
is
even need to go
exactly
to
once
Cloudera.
in a
It's just
pipeline.
Apache NiFi, and there's a
you
lot of
depend
pipelines
on
that
a lot of different
I advise you to play with.
Again, this is why
where you can
HBase
really
is
get
suits
a lot of
well in
throughput
this
out
kind
of
of use cases
cases that are real-time use cases.
The server is under
We
me.
do the absurd. You don't care about the exceptional.
Without
We
having
broke the
killing-
TV.
Yeah, I broke the TV.
We pushed too much data for the TV here. It doesn't like that much data.
Anyway,
Sometimes
so
people say exactly what
we're showcasing how easy it is.
Again,
to set up
nothing's
the-
easy.
the
That's the first thing we'll tell you. No matter what you're doing here, everything is
one
hard.
box.
Get HBase.
Even if we make it
Put to
easy,
Kafka.
there's some we
Or this
moved the
company was 12
complexity
guys,
somewhere.
9 months. They're writing
Something's
hand
hard.
code.
Whether you have to think
Each
of what you
instance
want,
of
might be the
table
hardest.
in
That'd be the
HBase.
best. If you
Someone
make the
has
hardest
to
thing,
map
you
it
can
out, draw an app, build
figure
an
out what
app,
you actually
deploy an
want.
app. Have
But
some
then
now
for
if I could
function,
just
there's
point
a
to
function
any
part.
table.
There's a
What they want you to
function
do
part,
with
and
it and how you
see a
do
lot
it.
of, like, ETL tools that you'll say,
This
"Ah,
is
yes,
my
it's
other
fucking
2
awesome,
lightning
fine."
talks.
Shit doesn't scale.
Since
This scales.
you know, we got through most of the
we have
HBase.
for
As he
a
mentioned,
certain
telecom
We're gonna be
based
able
in
to
New
run
Jersey.
everything in the cloud.
We have
everything
15
with
petabytes
Kubernetes.
going through.
So you get
a
all the
day.
buzzwords in one place. We
15
can do that
petabytes
with
is
our
pretty
other
good
stuff.
scale for something
that's
that's not
pretty
considered a streaming
But
app.
what I wanted to show
So that's
is for
why we
anyone
moved to
who
we've
saw
added
that tool I
Flink
was just
because
using
Flink scales big.
with NiFi looks pretty
Now 15
cool.
petabytes might
We've
be
added
big for
some
most
features
people.
to make it
Yeah,
even
we-
better.
It's not
for
Now
Alibaba.
that thing I'm
Yeah,
showing
not-
you, NiFi.
So
running
Alibaba's been
doing a
which
lot
means
with
I
Flink, so we
start
brought
some
Flink into
nodes
the
in a
stack.
VM,
Flink
or maybe
scales
containers,
to-
and I'll leave 'em running.
No one's even come up with a
Sometimes you don't
number,
wanna
but
do
we
that.
know at least
Sometimes you
one
wanna
client
grab
has 300,000 nodes.
Have it complete.
And they're all
So what we could do
256
is,
gig of
with the
RAM
command line, I can
So
run
that's
a simple flow.
bigger
It can
scale
be
than most
grab a
companies
file
will
from
get
S3,
to.
push to Kafka.
So at some point
Grab
that's
from
going to
your
Kafka,
phone,
push
right?
to S3.
Well,
You have like
because
three,
of our base net, that's easy.
300
Those
processors
sort
in
of
your
things.
phone.
And have it really
And then
fast.
the phone will still be slow. Facebook's still not
Any
loading.
external
There's
resources,
300,000
can run it right on
cores.
top of
I
yarn,
got
can run it
300
in
terabytes,
Kubernetes.
and I still can't
Very
get the
nice
video of the
feature
cat
for
showing
people
up.
doing that. Very easy to
Because
do.
it'll just make the cat
You just
higher
set up
quality,
a very
you know, your
simple
eye can't see
JSON
it.
file with a couple of parameters.
So
you
what's
need,
cool about that is it
and
was that
you
easy to
pass
write
that
the
over
app
command line,
with
and it starts
version
running.
control because people like that sort of thing.
Pretty easy to do. The command line to run this, again, you don't want to really show command line, but
Too many screens.
is just
Are you
NiFi,
sharing within the share?
stateless, and then a parameter.
Yeah, what's
And that parameter is just
yeah, it's
used.
kind of I'm
You
going.
can just put this in a file,
How do I make this?
and this
How this does it is
this
I'm
points
sharing from
to
here to that laptop.
version control system.
to
I
the
mentioned.
TV because that makes
The
a lot
NiFi
of sense.
registry, which points to GitHub.
So you saw the 2
Or your
boxes.
own Git.
To
it
make
just
it
pulls
even
that
cooler,
flow out,
I can monitor everything
attaches
going
these
on there.
parameters. Again,
So
all
as
these
the
can
things
be
are
easily
coming into
scripted,
Kafka,
done through
I
the
can
REST
see
API,
where that
done
data's
through
going
any
and
of
view
those
it
DevOps
as it's
tools you
coming
like.
through the system.
You spin up
We
something,
could
run
see
it,
what block you
complete.
live on.
You know, it makes it very nice for.
You're not on
doing these
Akron
things at
Street, are you?
scale.
There's a shooting.
What's
I don't
nice
want to
is
go over
we
there.
can
Yeah, that sounds
the
like
UI
North
as
Philly.
well.
Yeah, there's a lot of there's
So you
a
put
lot
on
of
the
data
screen
in there.
right there,
So I mean
app,
that's how
write
easy it is
once,
to take
and
data,
parameterize
push it into
everything,
HBase, or
and
pull
then
it
you
out.
can hand it off
So
to
for
someone,
general
like,
users,
use
you
it
don't
as
have
a-
to think.
Fill in a couple of
You know
blanks,
what do I
press
care what the
run,
data store
and now
is?
you've got
That's
something that can
my
load any
favorite part of
table you want.
NiFi.
Or
I
load
took
any
this
data from
demo is
here to
based on
there,
the
give
demo
them
that I
an
put to
extract.
Kudu.
Or, you know, they
And
can
then I
write
just
apps
changed the
with just running
line. So
parameters.
instead of
And we're putting a
pushing
web
to,
GUI on top of this,
to
it'll
HBase
be
over
just
here, I could
pass through a
do
wizard,
put to
and it'll
Kudu,
pass set all
you know,
those
move
parameters
that
for
same
you.
data over.
So you won't have to
Sorry,
even do these, and these can be secure.
You know, if
parameters.
tomorrow someone says Kudu's 12 cents
Where's
cheaper,
the REST API?
okay, we'll pick the name, put the table
Underneath-
here.
Well, everything
pick that same
in the
record
in
reader.
the
I'm
data
doing
motion
that
world
in
with the
another
REST API in it,
the
part of
demo
server.
if we have
So
time.
NiFi has a REST
Yeah, I guess the
API to
story.
do everything.
I'm doing that
So there's a NiFi
in
registry.
Most of the
this one. I'm
companies
pushing
work
to.
We're pretty
Kafka
good
to
on it.
Kudu.
Some of the legacy stuff didn't have it.
Well, yeah, Flink
but
is
the
sitting in the
NiFi
middle
Stuff all does
Flink
it.
is
When
kind
I
of
show you that
invisible
UI in NiFi,
because it
if you
runs
turn
on
your
Yarn.
browser and you
It's,
want the
this guy
JavaScript
up here.
network calls,
What are you-
you'll see all the REST calls because everything.
Nothing
on the screen is a
interesting.
REST call.
Because NiFi could do everything for me. This is my complex code here. It's
NiFi
very
server has
sad.
its own
I'm not a very good Flink
code
programmer
for
yet.
REST, so it's
but-
jitty. I read from
So you can submit
I read from Kafka.
A REST API.
That's it to read from
So
Kafka.
I'm thinking of some, you know,
And then
being able
I
to
do a
use-
filter if it's
Oh,
empty.
yeah.
so some
Get rid of
REST.
it. And then I just store it back in Kafka.
Oh,
But that's all the code
That's-
it takes
that's
to
a
read
different-
from Kafka.
you were talking
So
about,
that's why we like Flink too. Spark is a little
yeah.
harder to work
There's
with.
always
It's literally
enough to
open the
begin with.
consumer,
That's the
this for this topic, stream it, dump it here, and I could dump them all.
But you could add anything you wanted to Knox.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy. Whether
I'm
it's
sure
TCFS,
someone will
and we could
ask,
set this so it's exactly
because
one.
you could set up
Flink
that
supports that,
REST
and so
call
does Kafka.
to someone like a
So I mean,
consultant
it's
working
kind of
How's
nice.
Kafka supporting exactly what?
execute or run things on.
It's
demand.
not. It's only between Kafka and Kafka,
Well, when you describe that,
and it slows everything down.
like a
So that's the
especially
one
for
thing. As
Yarn,
soon
when
as people
when
come
you
to
do
me, they go,
Yarn
"I
job,
need
yeah, we can
exactly
definitely
one."
follow.
But you don't.
I want,
what you have ready.
I have one record here,
It's just
one
a
record
regular
there.
yarn submit.
I mean, that's why we like upsert, so I don't care. Give it to me
the only
twice,
difference
I'll
is
still
it
see
has
it.
to be the
Nah,
document.
Doesn't
so
matter.
this is I don't know if you guys.
One thing that's really cool that if you haven't seen, see, most people come to the meetups and seen I've done 900 talks on NiFi. So I glossed over the fact between each
so-
box you saw there
And
is an
exactly
automatic
once
queue for you
makes-
that's configurable.
It's very easy to
And
have
we
it
tried to
exactly
make it
once,
even better.
you know,
So
when
we
you have a
dynamically
broker, but the problem
adjust
is
the
exactly
size
once
of that queue for
in
you
a
if you
pipeline,
want,
right,
based on a
because
couple of
dependent
different
on a lot of
machine
different
learning
elements.
algorithms. There's a couple of simple ones in
Again,
there
this is
for
why
regression
HBase
or ordinary
is-
least squares. So it's
well
pretty
in this
simple.
kind of
But
use
if we
cases
see
that are
things are
real-time
going
use
too
cases,
slowly,
because
we could adjust the
you do the
size of
absurd,
this.
you don't care about
So
the
what
details.
this means with NiFi is each
mean-
box, if it slows down, it doesn't just stop your process, things don't fail or crash. It just queues up in the
Sometimes
queue
people
before
say
it,
exactly what
and then it'll
exactly
stop the
knows
guy
what they wanna
before
do.
him.
Again,
and
nothing's easy.
propagate back.
That's the first thing we'll tell
But
you.
now,
no
if
matter
if you choose to
what
do
you're
so
doing
and have
here,
the
everything is
space,
hard.
we can do predictions on
Even if we make it
It'll
easy,
automatically
there's
adjust
some
that
we
size
we
for you
move
so
the
you don't have to
complexity
manually
somewhere.
tweak it or call a REST
Something's hard. Whether you
Because I
have
could
to
call
think
a
of what
REST
you
API
want,
to
might be the
automatically
hardest. That'd be
adjust
the
it.
best. If
But
you
having
make the
machine
hardest
learning
thing
do that
you
for
use.
you, figure out what you actually
It's a
want.
little nicer.
Have someone
Again,
tell
that's
you
an
what they
option.
actually want.
Everything is what
What
they
you
want you
turn
to
on
do
and
with
off
it and how you
with,
do it. Everything we do.
This is my
For my Cloudera friends,
we can
since,
now write.
you know, we
anything
got
right
through
to
most of the
Parquet files.
HBase. As he mentioned,
So this is really
we're gonna be
nice.
able to run everything.
So
in the
I could
cloud,
take
everything with Kubernetes.
CSV file.
So you get all the
in one
buzzwords in one
step,
place.
store
we
it
do
as
that with our
Parquet.
other stuff.
Again,
too.
something
So
that
that's
would
pretty
take
cool.
a couple of consultants.
But what I wanted to show is for
months.
anyone
I
who
could
saw
take
that
XML,
tool,
do the
just
same
using
thing.
Avro
With
JSON.
NiFi, it looks pretty
No
cool.
code.
Pick it
We've
up.
added some
drop
features
it
to make it
somewhere.
even better.
Now it's in a
Now that thing I'm
standard
showing you,
high-performance
NiFi is running as
format.
a cluster. Eventually we'll have
Which
a
means I
ORC too.
start some nodes
But I could also
in a
drop it to
VM,
Kudu and
or maybe a
HBase.
containers and
So I
maybe
could take
not.
XML. Sometimes you don't want
query on
to
it
do
while
that.
it's in
Sometimes
stream,
you want to
grab
grab and then
something
store it somewhere
Have
else
it
and
complete.
do that in 3
So what
boxes.
we could do is,
No
with the
code.
command line,
All
I
of it
could
open source.
run a simple
All of it's
flow, which
very
would be
scalable.
Grab a file from S3,
Pretty
push
easy to
Kafka.
do. This one
Grab
is
from
only of
Kafka,
interest to
push
me.
S3.
They let you post
grab
images
from
here,
Slack,
push it into
which
HBase,
is
those
kinda
sort
cool.
of things,
Yeah, so
and have it
you know
really
what we-
fast,
you know what,
Idempotent, doesn't need
any
yeah,
external resources.
I know, I
can
showed
run
him
it
how to do
right
that.
on top
Yeah.
of
Yarn.
Yeah, I gave that to him. That's my
Kubernetes.
code I gave him.
Yeah,
And
very
he's
nice
using my
feature for
Slack
people
group doing that.
I know.
Very
I
easy
know.
to do.
He's
You
like,
just
Tim, how
set
do I
up a
do this? I'm
very
like,
simple JSON
Well,
file with a
he's-
couple
He's
of
got a cooler
parameters.
app though.
Yeah, he has a cool
And
app.
you just
so
pass
Ian
that
is
over the
a guru
command
when it comes
line
to
and it starts
to,
running.
machine learning and it, like really.
Pretty easy to do. The command
That's
line
it.
to
So
run
he-
this,
he
again,
works for the
you don't want to
federal
really show command line,
space.
but is
So what
just
he did, he
NiFi,
built an app that looks in
stateless,
sky
and then a
and
parameter.
automatically
And that
identify
parameter is
what's
just this
those
JSON.
like F.
The stealth bombers.
The stealth bomber
And
in the
this,
sky, but
how
you
this
pick
does it is,
it,
this
try
points
identify it,
to
it's gonna pop
that
into stuff.
version.
Yeah,
so I have a Slack group full of
The
stealth
NiFi
bombers, which
registry,
is good
which
if I'm
points to GitHub.
traveling internationally.
Or you
you
want
like
to
to
see
see that. So
You
it
know
just
what,
pulls that flow out.
Yep.
Attaches
A couple
these
other things that are
parameters.
cool.
Again,
We
all
could
this is easy
automatically
scripted,
push things to
done through a
Prometheus.
REST API, done
I
through
can
any of
automatically
those
enrich
DevOps tools you like.
IPs as they come through
You
the
spin
system.
up something, run it, complete.
We can now
You know,
store
makes it very
our flow
nice for
files in
doing
Box
these things
DB.
at scale.
What's nice is
We've added more for DevOps, and you were asking
set
about
up
the
those
command
parameters.
line. But
Then
these
we
three
put
are
them
to
on
me
the
are
screen,
really
write
cool.
their app,
Is
write it
for the
once,
ETL. And if I need to look up a
parameterize
value as
everything,
it's coming
and then you
in,
could
I
hand
could
it
use
off to
any
someone, like the
JDBC
user,
source.
to say,
So we don't
I
have
could
fill in
use
a couple
Kudu
of
or
blanks.
HBase.
So we don't have
press
to rely
run,
on those.
and now
those
you've got something
File,
like
not
load
cache.
CSV or map cache, no.
or load any
And
data from
this
here
could
to
add
there,
another layer of
do
cache on
extract.
top of that if you want.
Or they can write
Yeah, that's
apps
nice.
with just writing
So
parameters.
now
We're putting a
ETL
web
really
GUI
easy
on
because I
top
could do
of
things
this.
like
So it'll
lookups
be
and
just
joins against existing data.
pass through a wizard,
data
and it'll
cleansing.
pass set all those parameters for you, so you won't have to even do these, and these can be. So you can also hit Phoenix. We don't have a dedicated Phoenix one yet, but again, HBase 2
But
under
imagine
Kudu.
if you want to
Well,
free yourself
everything
to your
in the
schemas.
in the data key value story, two key value
So
options.
NiFi has a
Right.
REST API to do everything.
That, again,
So there's
one
a
or
NiFi
two
registry.
lines, and now you can do ETL.
Most of the component of our stack.
We're pretty
Okay,
good.
the last one is
Some
more
of the
of a
legacy
very
stuff
short
didn't
fun
have it.
talk.
But
I
the
invented
NiFi
my
stuff
own
all does
acronym.
it. When I show you that UI in NiFi, if you turn on your browser and you watch the JavaScript network calls, you'll see all the REST calls because everything on the screen is a REST
Yeah, I made
call.
my own stack because
No, I was just.
Because, you know, there was-
So it's
there's
the
all
NiFi
those
server.
NiFi
people
server
have
has
out
its own
there like the LAMP stack.
hosting
So I'm like, I need to have my own stack. So I put together words to make one that sounds pretty good. So it's the Flink stack, which is kind of making me think of food.
Oh yeah.
So I put together all Apache projects that would work together in an app and made the Flink
That's
stack.
a different thing, right? Like you were talking
It could be
about,
Flink steak, but so I have
so towards
Flink,
NiFi, yeah, right.
which is
Yeah,
the
there's
flow,
always- they
NiFi,
use
Kafka, and
that's
Kudu.
the-
I got
that's
2
the
Ks.
integration that
I
we
couldn't
do
figure out where to put
with
H, so I couldn't put
something
HBase in
that
there.
NiFi
Flank
per se.
or flank doesn't But you matter. could add anything you wanted to Notch.
Yeah.
Flank butchers if
Exactly.
you want to do it yourself.
I'm sure.
Oh,
someone
nice.
will
See,
ask
I already got
because
my
you
developer
could set up
advocate.
that REST
And
call.
so we got a
to
Meetup
someone
like
like a
so this is
consultant
by
working
default
for
an
you
IoT
to,
app.
execute
It's very
or
easy to
run
do,
things
but it's all
on
cool pieces.
demand.
It's pieces I've been using before anyway, so it's very simple to do. But I'm just trying to
especially
push
for
out my
yarn, when we do the
process
yarn job,
here.
yeah, we could definitely
And it's all
follow,
things we had
what you
before.
have already.
One thing that's
It's just
kind
a
of cool
regular
is we
yarn
have
submit.
it's edge in
Uh,
there because
the
the only
IoT
difference
component
is
has
has
to
AI.
be the Dockerizer.
So I could do or
which are running
you know
in a
crappy
second.
machine learning.
Yeah.
One thing that's really cool
Which
that,
you-
that
you
if
can
haven't
write it.
seen-
If you
Do
do
most
it
people
or
come to
yeah,
the
the-
meetup?
Yeah, it depends who does it. I've been pushing this
So
like glossed over the fact
hopefully he'll
between
write something
each
that
box
makes
you
sense,
saw
like,
there.
is it
There's a new
automatic
time
key
series
view
API in the
that's
open source
configurable?
now, and we
So
tried to
that's
make
the
it
next
even
thing.
better.
They've opened
So we
a
dynamically
full rich Java
adjust
API
the
now.
size of that.
The old
cube
one was
for
a
you
little.
if you want.
Now I can load
based on a
any
couple of
Onyx
different
model.
machine learning
Onyx is the
algorithms.
most standard.
There's a
format
couple
for
of
deep
simple
learning.
ones in there for
In the
regression.
DLJ.ai, I can
it's
own
pretty
any
simple.
Onyx model.
But if we
Any
see
MXNet
things are
model
going inside the
slowly,
Java
we
API,
can
The
adjust
problem
the
is
size of
translating
it.
some of the
So what this
TensorFlow
means with
Onyx,
NiFi is
they-
each
they
box,
don't-
If it slows down,
yeah.
it doesn't
it's
just
not-
stop you.
I still have a Java
Fail or
API for
crash.
TensorFlow,
It
but
just
for all the
queues
ones that
up
didn't make
in
it
the
there,
queue before it,
which is
and then it'll
Microsoft
stop
is
the guy
pushing on
before
its
it
No,
goes.
Microsoft is pushing
propagates
Onyx
those
back.
Amazon
The
pressure.
point that I'm trying
But
to
now
make
if
is
you
that
if you choose to
is
do so
we
and have the
want,
space,
you know, one
we could do
standard tool
predictions
level
on that,
for,
and
for
it'll
models.
automatically adjust that size.
It's a
for
tough
you
one.
so you
There's
don't
two
have to manually
standards to
tweak
rule
it
them
or
all
call
at this
REST
point.
API.
Keras
I could
and
call a
Onyx
REST API to
sort of
automatically
Yeah,
adjust it.
I-
mostly.
there's
But
a
having
bunch
machine
of
learning
There's a
do
lot
that
of
for
them.
you?
So
Like-
I picked one that fit
it's
with
a
my
little
acronyms.
nicer.
Again,
Yeah.
that's an option.
And
Everything
it's
is
Apache
could be
open
turned
source.
on.
This is
and
a
off.
fully Apache
Everything we
stack.
do. There is nothing for my
proprietary,
Cloudera friends.
Nothing
We can
that
now
you can't use,
write
nothing
anything
that I
like
can
the Parquet
supply the
files.
source code.
So
and
this
it's
is
got
really nice.
everything from
So I can
edge
take
stuff,
CSV
AI,
file,
whatever you want to
in
call it,
one step.
store
And
it
now
as
that we've got
Parquet.
Flink in
Again,
there,
something that would take
so I
a
mean
couple of
before would have been
consultants
Storm or Spark.
months. I
Having
could take
XML
Flink,
do the same thing.
you
Avro
saw how
decent,
easy the code is.
no code.
Pick it up,
It makes it
drop
very
it
easy
somewhere.
for me
Now
to
it's
get
in
to
that
that
next level
standard
where
high
I could
performance
do a
format.
sub-millisecond.
Eventually we'll have a
Yeah,
not
and-
have to
and
write
Flink
crazy.
itself
But I could
has
also drop it
also
to
a lot of
Kudu and
APIs
HBase.
that are crazy.
So I could take XML,
Yes.
it's
Run a
very
query on it while it's in
straightforward.
stream.
It's
easier than Spark.
and then store it somewhere else,
And do
which
that
is
in
nice.
3
'cause
boxes.
Spark is messy.
No code.
This gets rid of
All
some
of
of
it
the
open
mess.
source.
And this is a
all
full
of it's
Flink app.
very scalable.
I run
Pretty
some
easy
stuff.
to do.
This one is only of
NiFi
interest
pushes
to
it to
me.
Kafka.
They let you
Just
post
that
images
magic
to Slack,
distributed line in
which is kind
space.
of cool.
Flink
Yeah,
app
so-
runs and grabs
what-
it, pushes
you know
it
what,
to another topic. I
Yeah,
push it to Kudu. That's
I know. I showed him how to do that.
Yeah.
So the stack.
Yeah,
works.
I gave that to him. That's my code I gave him.
Yeah,
And
pretty
he's using my
straightforward
Slack
there.
group.
You could have called
I know,
the
and
Flink
so-
app
He's
from-
like, Tim, how do I do this? I'm like,
Yeah,
there you
yeah.
go. Yes, they have. He's got a cooler app.
Flink supports
Yeah, he has a
site to
cool app,
site.
but- So,
So
Ian is a guru when
I
it comes
can
to
call
to,
between the
machine
two
learning and, like,
natively.
really, like,
But Joe Witt, the
massive.
creator,
So he-
told me
he
not
works
to.
for the federal space.
So
So what he did, he
and-
chose an app
and
that looks in the
it would
stack
be
and,
the
lets
flan
you
stack,
identify
which
what
is a better for
those,
dessert.
like,
Maybe if we
The-
do
the-
another
the stealth
talk in
bombers.
Barcelona, I'll bring the
in
flan
by taking
stack,
pictures.
which might go over well there.
What's
Yeah,
Where do I
so I have
store
a
it? Maybe I
Slack
can put-
group full
where do I
of
store the
stealth
data?
bombers, which is good if I'm traveling internationally. People
Yeah,
like
that's
to
right.
see that.
You know what the use case here.
A couple
It's
other
Tim
things
wanted
that are
us
cool.
to run
We could,
stuff through there.
Automatically
Yeah.
push push things to Prometheus.
You say that the,
I can automatically enrich IPs as they come through the system.
You know, you could have
We can now
triggered
store our
the
flow files
Flink
in RocksDB.
app
It's kind of cool.
from a process.
We've added more
Yeah, I
for
can
DevOps.
run-
and you were
well,
asking
right
about
now
the
the
command
Kafka-
line.
Flink
But
is
these
really
three are,
good
to me, are
for,
really
like, Spark
cool.
streaming, where it's
Is
always running.
for the
It's really not good for
ETL,
batch.
if I need to look
It
up a
does
value
batch,
as it's
but
coming
we're not
in,
gonna want
I can
Yeah,
use any
right.
JDBC.
So I
system.
want it streaming,
I
so
can
it's
use
running
Kudu or
already.
HBase.
So I need to
we don't have to
communicate
add any of those,
file.
I could
CSV
I
or
could talk to
Mapcache,
it via
no.
site to site,
And this could
or
add
I
another
could
layer
talk
of
to it via
data.
JMS.
Yeah, you can
that's
call the API.
I could
So
push something
now
to an in-memory
ETL
data store
really easy because I could do
I
things
mean-
like lookups and
Alright,
joins
obviously
against
we don't know where
existing
we're
data.
going here, we're just playing
We're
with
doing
We're playing with it.
Database
Again,
deploy,
if
so
you
that
could
means
think of a
that
good
you need
thing that'll fit within my
Any
acronym,
JDBC.
or make the
So you could
acronym
also
better,
get Phoenix.
you could add that.
We don't have a
stack.
dedicated
It's a
Phoenix
very
one
new
yet, but
stack
again,
that we came up
HBase
with.
2,
But
Kudu,
imagine if you
Kudu,
want to
because
free
that was-
yourself
I
from
wanted
certain
to use
schemas.
NiFi
key value
linked
story,
together.
Yeah,
two
but-
key value options right
Right.
there.
Right.
In the real world, though, the
Again,
use
one or
case
two lines, and now
is
you can do
any
ETL.
IoT thing. So these companies I talked to before.
Okay, and the last one is
We
more of
have
a very
IoT there.
short,
We
fun
have,
talk.
Say a
I
large
invented
oil
my
company
own
in
acronym.
Texas. They already have those Minify agents in tens of thousands of places. They're
Yeah, and by the way, when we talk about IoT, we're not necessarily
Yeah, I made my own stack because
not necessarily
because
talking about
there's all
Talking
those
about
stacks
the-
people have out there,
right?
like the lamp stack.
You know, it's-
So I'm like,
it's
I need to
used
have my
for
own
some,
stack.
you know,
So I
like,
put
oil,
together
gas,
words
energy
to
that
make one that sounds
sensors.
pretty good.
Most of the
So
people
it's
are
the
using IoT
flank
that
stack,
and,
which is kind of
what-
makes me
what
think
is
of
going on in
food.
my-
So I put together all Apache
I wanna
projects
be able to
that would work
parse
together in an
every
app
event
and made it the flank
between
stack.
each and every machine, each and every laptop.
It could be
as well.
flank steak, but so I have
These are the kind of
Flink,
things that we're more talking about, right?
which is the
Very
flow,
easily to do.
NiFi,
Yeah,
Kafka,
so
and Kudu. I got two
we
Ks.
capture.
I couldn't
like,
figure out where to put H, so I couldn't put H.
So what life cycle issue?
Flank
Sorry?
Is
or
that
flank.
life cycle? It's the managed service. Flank
The
stack
hive
is the
cycle?
managed service. Flank butcher is a hive cycle.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
nice.
I mean,
See, I already got I got my
No,
The
development.
reason why is because like
And
I look at
so we
it
got a
from
Minify
the
agent. So this is by default an IoT app. So it's very easy to do, but it's all cool pieces. It's pieces I've been using before anyway, so it's very simple to do. But I'm just trying to push out my milk process here.
Yeah,
because for
And it's all
example,
things we
like
had
have a
before.
cow, there's
One
six
thing that's
instructions
kind of
to it,
cool is
right?
we
Because
have
the problem
it's
is you can
edge
do
in there because
console.
the
Where
IoT
have
component
which
wheels have
Velocibra,
Acer.
whatever the elevator
So I could do,
is
or
called.
yeah,
One
crappy
after
machine
getting,
learning.
more
Yeah.
friction off.
Which
Depends
so
if
you can write it.
got 'em on
Yeah,
railroad.
yeah, it depends who does it. I've been pushing this at Ian, so hopefully he'll write something that makes sense.
So,
Like
so the point is,
there's a new time series API in the open source now. So that's the next thing. They've opened a full rich Java API now. The old one was a little. Now I can load any Onyx model. Onyx is the most standard format for deep learning. In the DLJ.ai, I can own any Onyx model and any MXNet model inside the Java
Well,
API.
the problem is translating some of the TensorFlow models to Onyx.
The choker break, yeah.
It's not.
I still have a Java API for TensorFlow, but for all the ones that didn't make it there,
What people do
which is
they
Microsoft is pushing Onyx, baby.
Microsoft is pushing
And
Onyx,
so is
but,
Amazon.
The point that I'm trying to make is that what this type of stuff can do, so to go back to the oil and gas guy in Texas, what they looked at when
It's a
they
tough one. There's
connected
two
the-
standards to rule them
so
all at
they
this point.
plugged in
Keras
the
and
contractor
Onyx,
laptop for the Cloudera guy.
sort of.
Yeah,
mostly.
there's a bunch every day.
There's a lot of
The
them.
laptop
So I
called
picked one that
the,
fit with my acronyms.
Yahoo Weather
And it's
API.
Apache open source. This is a
600
fully Apache stack.
So that's 600
There is
events.
nothing proprietary,
$10.
nothing that you
So,
can't use, nothing that I didn't
You don't
supply the
care
source
about
code,
having each and every
and it's
single
got
event
everything
like
from
I'm going to the Yahoo
edge
Weather.
stuff,
What you need to understand
AI, whatever you want to
is
call
how
it.
is this evolving over time?
And now that
Is
we've
there
got
days
Flink in
where
there,
all of a sudden it's
so I mean,
like
before it would have
Buffalo,
been
it's
Storm or
huge,
Spark,
it's kind of the trend.
having
The
Flink,
problem is they're
you
pushing
saw how
all this
easy
stuff
the
in
code
these
is.
big SIM like Splunk,
It makes it very
And-
easy
and-
for me to get
and
to that next level where
back of the ship
I
is
could
money,
do a
because
sub
every piece
millisecond
of data is
and not have to write
Flink
crazy
itself has
code.
also a lot of
money.
APIs that are- It's about
Yeah,
ownership of
it's
and
very
onboarding of new
straightforward.
applications.
It's
You have
easier
so
than
much
Spark,
data that your system
which is nice because Spark
cannot,
is messy.
you know,
This
just
gets rid of some of the
processing
mess.
one
And this is a
application very
full
hard because
Flink
you have
app.
too much of it.
I
The
run
solution
some
to be
stuff.
able to onboard more applications
NiFi pushes it to
is to have
Kafka.
this
There's
type
that
of
magic distributed
parsing and
line in
aggregation
space.
done
Flink
by
app runs
NiFi
and grabs
and
it, pushes
Unify
it to another
before it
topic.
actually hits
I
the,
push it to Kudu. That's our whole stack.
the SIM.
So the
So
stack
in that
works.
use case, it would still be up
You know, it's pretty straightforward there.
You could have
Primarily
code
involved
to
as
the
Splunk or
Flink
whatever
app
else it might be.
Well, you could be.
Because I mean, the reason why I pay for Splunk
Yes, they
is
have
because
Flink
because
supports
of- they
site
give
to
me a basic
site.
search tool, but because
So
I'm outsourcing
I
it,
can call between the
I can't hire
two
SecOps people
natively,
fast enough
but
to
Joe
bring it
Witt,
down
the
in-house. I
creator,
agree with
told
that
me not to
myself.
do.
Yeah, but the problem is
Well,
like
that
So-
would be no way, 'cause I'm not in the business of
Conf-
using
if
it.
Joe
and-
says no,
and-
and
it would be the flan stack, which is better for dessert. Maybe if we do another talk in Barcelona, I'll bring the flan stack, which might go over well there.
But the problem is, like,
Then where am I storing it? Maybe I can put. Where do I store the data though?
The thing, your current investment, essentially, right? Because you're
obviously
spending less.
case here.
You only.
It's Tim wanted us to run stuff through there.
You say that
you get to.
I'm not even saying
select
pushing
what
to
which and every one you want.
What I'm
And,
saying is
that we did a
you could have
one-to-one and
triggered
we had one-to-one parity with the
Well,
universal forwarders, for
from the
instance.
process.
And
Yeah, I could run.
because
Well, right
of
now
the
the
aggregation part that we had
Flink is
later,
really
we were
good
able
for
to,
like Spark streaming, where it's always
minimize the footprint.
It's
and
really
now
not good
we're
for
running a lot more
batch.
applications.
It
And all of
does
this is running
batch,
because
but we're not
you're
gonna
running those
want
small
Yeah,
agents, those mini
So I
agents,
wanted streaming, so
CM,
it's running
they're
already.
all running
So I need to
on
communicate.
At least you need
on
one
containers as
process
well,
to
so that
turn on.
if
I
the
could
flow
I could talk
of-
to it via site to
it's
site.
scalable, right?
Well,
So
I
if
could
the
talk
flow
to it
of
via
APIs
JMS.
move, yeah, you could throughout the day.
I
right,
could
they
push
use the
something
grid
to an in-memory
put
data
up and down
store.
those agents,
I mean,
which means that we never
obviously we don't
bothered
know
by scale.
we were playing with it.
Overwhelming
Again,
things.
if you
There's
could think
lot
of a
and
good
we're talking
thing that'll
about
fit
very
within
large
my acronym
corporations.
or make the acronym
No, I
better,
understand. Like,
you could add that to the
this is
stack.
scale, this
It's a
is
very
what
new
calls for scale.
stack that I
Right.
just
Well,
came up
it's
with
not just for
a
scale,
couple
though.
weeks ago because
We
I
don't want to say
wanted
IoT is just
NiFi and
some
Flink
device
together.
Right.
Or
but there is obviously
in
a
the
lot of
real
use
world
cases
though, the
from
use case
ATM, I have it on.
is
I've
any
got it in
IoT
brown
thing. So these
delivery
companies I
trucks,
talked
I've
to
got it in
before,
set-top boxes.
you have
we got it
IoT there.
in
We have
servers.
say a
some
large
people's
oil
laptops.
company in Texas.
There's
They
so many
already
things
have
that you
those
can do.
NiFi
IoT,
agents
It's
in
really just
tens of thousands of places.
someplace I
They're
can
Yeah,
install
by the way, when we
something
talk about IoT,
to make grab some data and
not
do some
necessarily
logic
talking about-
simply there.
not necessarily talking
Logic
about
that I
devices.
could push to that
We're talking about
agent
servers,
to minimize
right?
stuff coming
It's
back.
like, you
Whether
know,
it's just a
used
log from a
for
server,
some,
or don't
you know,
show me where
let's
it's
say oil,
nonsense.
gas,
I'll do an
energy that
aggregate,
actually
send
have
that.
sensors.
But send
Most
me
of the
every
people
time
that
there's
use
something
that are looking
broken. I want that right away,
you know,
or there's
what
a
is going on
virus,
in my-
or
it's-
something going on.
So you
I wanna
don't
be
well
able
to
to
go back to the scale.
parse
So people
every
that are looking
event
at scale
because
that don't
every
they don't necessarily care about money. They're like, you know, I just want to be able to have all this
These are the
stuff
kind of use cases.
and make sure that I can onboard more.
Very
like you
easily
said,
to do that.
yeah, you are
So
sourcing
this,
this
we
security
captured
like
There's still some work to be done on
Is
the
that a
wing
hype cycle issue?
at this
Sorry?
Is that a hype
dashboard
cycle
and so on
issue?
and so forth, right?
a hype
You
cycle.
still have to do a little bit of
Gartner hype cycle.
Yeah, I mean,
The trough of disillusionment and all the rest of it.
No,
Well, the reason why is because, like, I look at a couple of things, like, for example,
on the smaller scale, there's two problems that we see happening. One is actually getting access to the data, right? And so this is where what you were saying, like this integration
flows
that we have.
Yeah, because for example, right, like you
And
have a
so
cow.
Yeah, yeah.
there's six
Actually,
extractor sets to it,
integrating
right?
the
If
data
there's
is
a
not
problem
only
with it, you can go and
can I
identify
find
Where
an
you have
agent
it,
to run
which
on the
cow,
machine to be
doesn't
able to
work
run
with
this stuff,
elevator
but more
companies call.
I
Yeah,
have
yeah.
10,000 different agents,
friction
how do I
of
manage them
one of the
all at
cables
once?
that go
It's yeah, we've got them on
Yeah,
railroads.
Here talk
Yeah.
about
So getting access to the data, and then there's the other one of
there's a shift in
minimizing
So no, so the
costs.
point is,
and by again
unless you are
not pushing the 600 times when you go to the weather API and just clearly this is not a security breach. You are minimizing your
more
footprint.
worried about
And all of this
the
stuff
security
is tools that are available to you.
that are part of the
Like again, I'm not trying to sell Cloudera. I'm just saying it's from an architectural perspective. This is open source. This works.
Though to answer your
And
question,
if you look at
we're at a
really,
very
optimizing
important point,
cost
which
and
is,
having more,
being able to
you
having
have
an
an
overload of data and you don't know what to do with it. That's often what happens. So what people do is they'll take like just give me everything, and they don't know what to do with it. So what this type of stuff can do. So to go back to the oil and gas guy in Texas, what they looked at when they connected so they plugged in one of the contractor's laptop, which was a Cloudera guy, and it turns out that every day the laptop called the Yahoo Weather API 600 times, right? So that's 600 events that are going into the logs, right? So you don't care about this, having each and every single event saying like I'm going to the Yahoo Weather. What you need to understand is how is this evolving over time? Is there days where all of a sudden it's like 12,000, all of a sudden it's 2, right? This is kind of the trends that you want. The problem is they're pushing all this stuff in these big SIM like Splunk and etc.
Yeah, same solutions,
and that costs a shit ton of money because every piece of data that is indexed
is a lot of money. It's not only money, it's about ownership of and onboarding of new applications. You have so much data that your system cannot, just processing one application is very hard because you have too much of it. So the solution to be able to onboard more application is to have this type of parsing and aggregation done by NiFi and MiniFi before it actually hits the SIEM.
So in that use case, it would still be outputted to a SIEM, whether it would happen to be from Alien Vault to Splunk to whatever else it may be.
Well, you could be.
Because the reason why I pay for Splunk is because, not because of they give me a fancy search tool, but because I'm outsourcing for talent. I can't hire SecOps people fast enough to bring the talent in-house, so I'm not going to build that stack myself.
Yeah, but the problem is
I want
that
that pain to go away because I'm not in the business of being a security person.
Yeah, and completely agreed. And we're not trying to replace this necessarily. Like we've
Yeah.
done this at other solutions for people that are really like engineering heavy. But the problem is like we want to give you more use out of the thing, your current investment essentially, right? Because you're spending less. You only specifically for those Windows events that are very, very chatty, right? You get to really select which and every one you want. And that we did a one-to-one, and we had one-to-one parity with the universal forwarders, for instance. And because of the aggregation part that we had later, we were able to really minimize the footprint, and now they're onboarding a lot more application. And all of this is running because you're running those small agents, those MiniFi agents with CM. They're all running on containers as well, so that if the flow of auto-scalable, right? So if the flow of events moves throughout the day, right, they can use a grid to push up and down those agents, which means that we never bothered by scale either, right? And while maintaining the cost. So there's a lot of, and we're talking about very large corporations doing that, right?
No, I understand. Like this is a scale. This is solving problems for scale.
Right.
I'm not gonna
Well,
use
it's
this for
not
small
just
size.
for scale though. We don't want to say IoT is just some device you have, but there is obviously a lot of use cases from ATM. I have it on. I've got it in brown delivery trucks. We got it in set-top boxes.
Mm-hmm.
We got it in servers. It's on people's laptops. There's so many things that we considered IoT, and it's really just someplace I can install something to grab some data and do some logic simply there, logic that I can push to that agent to minimize stuff coming back. Whether it's just a log from a server, or don't show me where it's nonsense. I'll do an aggregate, send that. But send me every time there's something broken. I want that right away, or there's a virus, or something going on.
So to go back to the scale, so people that are looking at scale they don't necessarily care about money. They're like, I just want to be able to have all this stuff and make sure that I can onboard more. And like you said, you are sourcing this security expertise. There is still some work to be done on looking at these dashboards and so on and so forth, right? And you still have to do a little bit of sifting. There's a lot of alerts that are being done automatically in Splunk, for instance, but there's still a little bit of dashboarding and sifting that you have to do. On the smaller scale, there's two problems that we see happening. One is actually getting access to the data, right? And so this is where what you were saying, like these integration points that we have, right? And so actually integrating the data is not only can I find an agent to run on the machine to be able to run this stuff, but more, I have 10,000 different agents. How do I manage them all at once without having 10,000 engineers, right? So getting access to the data, and then there's the other one of minimizing costs, and by again not pushing the 600 times when you go to the weather API, and just because clearly this is not a security breach, you are minimizing your footprint, right? And all of this stuff is tools that are available to you to work. Like again, I'm not trying to sell Cloudera. I'm just saying this from an architectural perspective. This is open source. This works. And if you look at really, optimizing cost and having more, having the ability to